The board meeting of December 9th, 2025 is called to order. Member Combs will now lead us in a moment of reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Please join me for a moment of reflection. Thank you. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Combs, will you please acknowledge our student entertainment?
Yes, I would like to thank the Progress Village Middle School dance team along with Principal Peter Madera and Director Desiree Shapiro. These wonderful students entertained us prior to the start of our board meeting. At this time, we'd like to invite the students to introduce themselves.
I'd like to say thank you, Madam Chair, esteemed board members, and Superintendent Ayers and cabinets. I just wanted to announce and introduce Raven King and Desiree Shapiro and their wonderful Progress Village dancers.
Thank you so much. My name is Raven King, and I'm one of the dance teachers at Progress Village Middle Magnet School. Thank you so much for the opportunity for them to perform. And then we also have Shapiro.
Thank you. I'm Desiree Shapiro. We really appreciate the opportunity for our girls. Thank you so much.
My name is Lucia Yohai. I'm in the 7th grade.
My name is Monet Levy, and I'm in the 8th grade.
My name is Madeline Grager. I'm in the 8th grade.
My name is Addison Smart, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Lydia Rickmeyer, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Charlotte Carver, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Kay Earhart, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Kayla Baxter, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Rosia Simmons, and I am 7th grade.
My name is Annalise De Silva, and I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Jasmine Reckinger, and I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Chloe Four, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Ava Quintana, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Tiana DePrima, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Ileani Soriano, and I'm in the 7th grade.
My name is Ina Marquez, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Matai Wilder, and I'm in the 8th grade.
My name is Valana Pasco, and I'm in the 8th grade.
My name is Riley Schutz, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Lacey Sharp, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Violet Vargo, and I'm in the 7th grade.
My name is Madison Figueroa, and I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Cecilia Lasher, and I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Lily Davis, and I'm in 8th grade.
Great job, girls. Let's stand up.
Great.
Yay, great job, girls. Merry Christmas. Oh, I like that. I like that. Follow my Instagram. Progress Village Instagram.
I follow my TikTok.
Great job.
Good job.
Great job, girls. Nope.
I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray, by Member Combs, and a second by Member Vaughn. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Let the record reflect that all board members are present except for Member Hahn. We have 2 sets of minutes to be approved today, November 18, 2025, board recognition meeting, and December 2nd, the board recognition meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Gray. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Board members, I would like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we are a nonpartisan board who believe all children can be empowered to learn, to succeed, and our decisions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient agenda statements and questions, board members will have 5 minutes to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterward, the superintendent can respond. If you have further questions, you're asked to get back in the queue. Member Combs will now read the board guidelines.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just getting over the flu. As we begin this afternoon's meeting, please allow me to quickly review format of our school board meetings. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind that will allow board members to hear the meeting upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed captioning on live webcasts, on cable TV, on video monitors here in the auditorium. It also can be viewed with closed captioning and online video archive.
Thank you, Member Combs. We have one item scheduled for time certain. That's 6 p.m. employee and student input. Tonight, our recognitions, we have A1 recognition of Citizens Oversight Committee reorganization. Chris Farkas, Deputy Superintendent of Operations, will highlight this item.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate it, Board and Superintendent. It's a unique opportunity. We've talked a lot about the Citizens Oversight Committee and what they've meant to this board, and I know that the board is very appreciative of all the things they've done. But for the group and for the crowd, I just want to share a little bit of information. In 2017 and 18, the school district was facing over $1 billion in deferred maintenance. We didn't have a lot of choices, and some of the board members that are here today were part of that board. We knew that a half-penny referendum was the only way to raise our heads above that water and get ourselves some of the air conditioning, the roofs, and some of the essential things that our students so badly needed. At that time, there was some wavering confidence in what we do and how we'd spend that money. At that time, Superintendent Akins and myself talked about and looked at other models, what works, what's going to make sure that the district knows and the community knows we're going to spend the money the way we promised, that half-penny promise. At that time, we talked about a Citizens Oversight Committee. We spent a lot of time talking about with those board members and also with Superintendent Akins and myself to look at who'd be the right fit, making sure that we had people that were pillars of the community, who were trustworthy, but weren't just going to give us a rubber stamp, that were going to make sure that they looked into the dollars, looked into what we were doing, and making sure we were doing the right thing. The selection process for that committee was pretty painstaking, I'll be perfectly honest with you. And as we look for the potential reauthorization that we come to, it's been 8 years, and it doesn't feel like that. But it is, we're coming up on 8 years as we've gone through this process from 17 to now. We have 2 members that are transitioning off, and we have 2 members that are going to be joining us. And I think it's important that we take just a second to talk about them. Our chair and vice chair are the ones that are transitioning off. And so I'm going to start with our Sheriff Chad Chronister. So recognized as a disciplined and community-focused services vice chair, his perspective is rooted in safety, integrity, and collaborative partnerships. He's been vital, ensuring that funds were directed towards creating secure and well-maintained learning environments. His steadfast commitment to transparency, accountability, has deepened our connection between our schools and the broader community. Sheriff Connor has been the sheriff since 2017. He's also co-chair of the Regional Domestic Security Task Force to Region 4 and vice chair of Public Safety of Coordinating Council. That being said, Chad is the one that has pushed hard for us to make sure that our kids are safe. He's always been a willing partner, whether it's the first day of school and him and Mr. Bartolo coming in and making sure our kids get to school safe, or anytime there's a call and anytime there's a need, Chad is there to answer that question and be there for us. He has been a partner. We have issues, whether it's storms. Chad is the first one to reach out and talk about that. Over the last 8 years, I've come to call him a good friend. He is someone that I think this community has relied on and trusted on, and I think he's a vital part of why there's confidence in what we've done. He's asked the questions. He's been there for us. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Sheriff Chad Chronister for being a member of our Citizens Oversight Committee for the last 7 years. Now, Board, I'm going to need a little leeway on this one. Many of you know I was a history teacher, and so we have an individual like Miss Betty Castor, I've got to do something she's very uncomfortable with, is talk a little bit about her resume. Many of you may know a lot about Miss Castor, but I want to talk a little bit about something you may not know. Miss Castor actually was sent by JFK to Uganda in diplomatic missions to start her. She taught in Uganda as part of where she started. She was the first woman on the Hillsborough County Commission. She was the first woman to serve as the Florida Senate president. And at that time, she talked about equal rights bills, funding spousal abuse centers were a big part of what she did. And she also funded early childhood literacy centers. She was the first woman to serve as the president of the University of South Florida. And during that time, she tripled the endowment, and they became a research institution under Betty. She is a big part of that. She's also president of the National Board of Teaching Standards. She has been our chair, and I would argue the person that has guided, whether it was Superintendent Akins, Superintendent Davis, or Superintendent Ayers, through many of the troubled times that we've had, or many of the things that we've gone through, whether it's storms or COVID, the things that we've faced. She's been a trusted advisor for what we've done. Another one that we've spent a lot of time with, I think Kristen Davis, who helps me so much with the Citizens Oversight Committee, and I would say that she is a key part of why we've been so successful in making sure that oversight is there. So at this time, I'd like to introduce and give recognition to Ms. Betty Castor, our chair for the Citizens Oversight Committee. So I'm going to do a quick introduction of everyone else, then I'm going to allow Ms. Castor and Sheriff Chronister to say comments. So please feel free to come up there too. I want to recognize our other board members that are currently here. The first is our new board member, Mr. Tom Lee. Tom Lee, being a businessman, actually took over and has now been a senator for 18 years, was president of the Florida Senate as well. Former Senator Lee is someone who can look at, and when we talked about trying to add him to the committee, he interviewed us. He talked to us about what are we doing? How do we ensure there's accountability and transparency throughout that process? As someone who has steeped in the Tampa tradition and also steeped in Florida legislature, I think it's important that we have someone in there that can help us navigate as we go forward. So we're very excited to have it. I want to recognize Mr. Tom Lee. And a lot of you will see, and I don't want to give Mr. Lott too much since we're going to recognize that building after him on the ribbon cutting on Friday, but Mr. Rick Lott is here. Has always been a member of the Rick. A newer member to the committee, Mr. Andy Ross, Mayor of Temple Terrace. Mr. Ross. And I believe Ed Narine was in here, had walked in somewhere, so I think, there we go. Oh, there we go. Kristen made him. He wanted to stay in the back, so Ed Narine is also there. And I don't let Jose talk because he just sounds so cool when he talks. You don't want to follow him. Is that part of it too? But our new chair for the Citizens Oversight Committee, Jose Valiente. So thank you, board, for allowing us a few minutes. It's a group that I feel very passionate about. We spent a lot of time together over the last 8 years. They've been instrumental in keeping us and holding us accountable to what we do. We've got 2 accountants on that board, elected officials, the sheriff. I mean, we're definitely have to be on the forefront of what we're doing and showing the transparency of what we do. So at this time, I'd like to give an opportunity to Mr. Castor and Sheriff Chronister to talk.
As reluctant as I am to get up to the microphone, I want to say thank you to all of you, to every board member, the superintendent, and to the staff. I don't know if there are any principals with us today, but I do recall when this referendum was passed, it was in large part due to the principals that got out in their schools and worked with their parents and gave us a great victory. This is one of the responsibilities that I've had that I have totally enjoyed. We have a good group. We attend meetings. Mr. Narine usually comes in. He's here. We're happy he usually gets in there just before the bell rings. But one of the things that I don't think the public realizes is that we have now expended over $1 billion to improve our schools. $1 billion. Those of us on the committee have seen the dirty projects. We've seen the roofs repaired. We've seen new libraries. We've seen school Playgrounds improved. We've seen our stadiums and the ground cover improved. And all of this has been done with 100% transparency and 100% integrity. And when we go back to the public again, I want to help you make that statement over and over again. It has been, those dollars have been, we've watched over those dollars. You have watched over those dollars. You have checked on the expenditures. And what more can you say for public projects? So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I have loved getting to know the sheriff, and he has just been a mainstay of our group. So, Sheriff Chronister, would you like to say hallelujah?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Incredible board, amazing superintendent. As much as it pains me, deputy superintendent, but the entire oversight committee, thank you for this recognition. It's incredibly humbling. I have to tell you what, I learned so much having an opportunity to look behind the curtains, to be able to spend time. All of you have to be proud of every employee of your school district, to be able to work with them and see how they've maximized the budget and the taxpayer dollars, to see how they were able to find contractors, whether they were minority based. But more importantly, what they did is keep the tax dollars here. They took the monies and hired contractors here as often as they could. In 2 years from now, when this comes up, I'll be right there with Betty Castor to explain how important it is and what was created here over the past 8 years to improve the quality of education, to improve the educational opportunities, to improve the educational environment. And who can ever argue with the fact that you have helped create safer schools? I would argue the safest school district in the state, if not the nation, because of the money that has been spent. Thank you. To be able to work with Betty Castor, an absolute legend and trailblazer. It didn't take much to convince me when they said, hey, Betty, and the rest that went, it was kind of blurry. I don't know what they said. But to have an opportunity, how grateful are we, how blessed are we that Betty Castor still gives back and pays it forward and calls Tampa home. Betty, thank you for everything that you do. Again, distinguished board, superintendent, all of your staff and the oversight committee, absolutely humbling to receive this recognition. Thanks for allowing me to be a part of it.
And then we're going to get just a photo of Ms. Castor and the sheriff with our board and superintendent.
Thank you all.
Everyone ready? 3, 2, 1.
Recognition A02, recognition of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Best Crew Award. At this time, I would like to call up Anne Marie Courtney, Director of Partnership Engagement, Philanthropy, and Outreach.
Good afternoon, board members, superintendent, cabinet members, and guests. The Bucks Best Crew program, supported by our amazing partner, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are celebrating their 50th season of professional football in the Tampa Bay area. This monthly award recognizes standout Hillsborough County Public Schools teachers, administrators, and support staff for outstanding service, overall impact on students, and accomplishments beyond the classroom. We are honored this evening to have Brian Ford, Chief Operating Officer of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, here tonight to announce this month's award recipients.
Thank you very much, Anne Marie, and Madam Chair, rest of the board, distinguished board members, Superintendent Ayers, good afternoon and thank you. So excited to continue this program, but that's a tough act to follow, that last. That's tremendous. So all of those individuals and the accomplishments, again, as the sheriff mentioned, humbled to be here. So thank you for all that you guys are doing. Before I get on to our award winners, I wanted to bring something to light that I thought all of you would really find very interesting. There's a young man that is on our team, and he's, you see me every month, but the gentleman that's back in the office that actually helps with all of our school programming has joined me here today. He doesn't know I'm about to do this, but Mr. Chad Jenkins, I'd like to have him come up here. And it's the individuals behind the scenes that help us coordinate in the collaboration. And Chad has grown up here in Hillsborough County, born and raised, went all through school through the Hillsborough County School District, went to Jefferson High School for his high school, and then went to Stetson University for his undergrad, and then USF for his graduate studies. And now he's a Buccaneer. So we're very fortunate to have him on our team. And the information that I bring forth each month is on his shoulders. So I thought it would be appropriate just to say thank you, Chad, and to introduce Chad, the guy behind the scenes. So congratulations. You can help me with the balls now. All right. First up, and again, I love to start off board meetings on positive notes on things that we can all agree upon. And this 3 stories here for our principal of the month, our teacher of the month, and the support staff of the month. And we have a tradition at One Buccaneer Place, anybody that goes over and above, and we need to get back on the winning side of things Thursday night to do this, but anybody that goes over and above gets a game ball. And these 3 individuals that I'm going to speak of here in just a minute have gone over and above, and they're going to get their own very own custom game ball. So let's start with Beverly Hawkins, a school social worker from Potter Elementary School. Thank you very much. And even more Buck Red. All right. The comments that I'm about to read, Ms. Hawkins, did not come from just one individual, but they came from your principal, your peers, your teachers, your student body, the families that you impact. And I'm very excited to also announce that the nominations that we're receiving each month for this program are increasing. So we want to get the word out. So I want you to really showcase your game ball and get it out there so others tell their stories, because there are tremendous stories out there and we just need to bring them to light. But again, this is coming from your student body. Ms. Hawkins is an exceptional social worker who consistently goes above and beyond for her Potter families. Her dedication to finding solutions for every challenge and her compassion for students make her an invaluable part of the school community. As leader of the PBIS team, she fosters a positive culture, supports student behavior with care, and plays a vital role in improving attendance and connecting families with essential resources. She provides grief counseling when needed, behavioral support, and conducts home visits, strengthening the trust between the school and the home. But her commitment extends beyond daily responsibility. She builds powerful community partnerships, such as securing Christmas gifts for students through the Rogers Behavioral Health. She also removes barriers for families, like going out of her way to get a stroller for a family so they can bring their kids to school. She even has fundraised to pay for school buses on various occasions, including getting transportation for 30 kids to go to Clothes for Kids so they can receive clothes and shoes. It's tremendous. Ms. Hawkins' work brings comfort, stability, and opportunity to students and families, and her impact is felt in every corner of Potter. Congratulations. All right, next, Victoria Fulton. Come on up here. I love the shirt. Congratulations and thank you. All right. Again, these comments are coming from your faculty, your students, and the families. Tremendous. Ms. Fulton is a part-time cafeteria attendant at Lanier Elementary School, but her impact on students goes far beyond her role. It is no secret that the school cafeterias can be a challenge, yet she shows up daily, eager and excited, with a smile and a positive attitude. In fact, she's not missed a single day all year. That's leading by example. Even when her vehicle did not start, she made sure to get an Uber to make it on time and not miss a day. That is true dedication for a job that is, in most schools, finds hard to fill. Ms. Fulton transforms the cafeteria from a typically loud, chaotic space, that's not true, right? Nah. Into a welcoming, structured environment that students enjoy. She incorporates holidays and activities into the lunch period to keep students engaged when they're finished eating. Even with no classroom experience at all, she treats the space like a classroom setting, displaying artwork and samples of student work around the cafeteria. Her small acts of kindness, from bringing in treats to celebrating special moments, make lunchtime a joyful experience. Because of her effort and heart, the cafeteria has become a place students truly look forward to each day. That's tremendous. All right, get that one. Teamwork, come on over. Congratulations. All right. Now I want you to take special note of Principal Scott Weaver's tie. Come on up. I like that. I'm going to give you one of these, Scott. All right. 50 pin. There we go. All right. Again, Principal Weaver, these comments are coming from your faculty, the families, your student body, and it's tremendous. Principal Scott Weaver is an exceptional leader whose dedication, work ethic, and hands-on approach set you apart. Throughout your 20-plus years in Hillsborough County Public Schools, colleagues consistently describe you as one of the most inspiring and committed principals that they've ever worked for. He doesn't simply lead his school, he embodies it. Although his title is principal, Scott fulfills countless roles each day. He can be found sweeping and raking the soccer field, fixing the marquee, assisting in the front office, and handling the many behind-the-scenes tasks that keep the school running smoothly. No job is too big or too small, reflecting his humility and unwavering team-first attitude. Your leadership is empowering, and your commitment to excellence is constant. Wow. He lifts others up and celebrates both big achievements and everyday successes. The school spirit is equally well known. As a proud Buccaneers superfan, you bring energy, humor, and heart to the campus. Principal Weaver is just not a leader of the school, he is the backbone and shining example of what authentic servant leadership looks like. That's tremendous.
The board welcomes comments from citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive response to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and will keep our board informed about the responses. Our school board respects the public's right to speak to the board, and we appreciate you taking your time to be here. You have the right to speak about any issue you like, and you will not be interrupted. However, any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of this meeting will not be allowed. We do request that you try to focus on the issues. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. This afternoon, each speaker will have 3 minutes. Reminder that your 3 minutes start when you begin speaking. When there are 30 seconds left, you will see a yellow light on the lectern and hear a chime. The red light and a chime will indicate when your time is up. I will now call up the first 5 speakers.
Mark Clutho, Largo. That statement is about as insincere as I've ever heard. I'm going to have to deviate from what I was going to say after your glad handing and backslapping that you had earlier. That oversight joke. That's exactly what it was. Oversight. $1 billion. I've been coming here 30 years, seen, 6 people that have been appointed to build schools. None of them qualified. Not a single one. And what we're talking about is not $1 billion. I've seen approaching $5 billion worth of junk buildings. Not a single one a high-performance passive solar building. Your man in charge now doesn't know what a properly oriented building looks like. That's the first thing that you have with a properly designed building. I mean, this tonight could best be described as a circus. I mean, you never got a high-performance passive solar building from USF with an engineering or an architectural school. They're on their campus. Oh boy, you people are disgusting. I mean disgusting. And so what follows, the headline, how close are we to the planet's climate tipping points? Yeah, this is what you bring. And then this just came out. Researchers dodge icebergs and seek ocean tipping point. And what it says is, what will happen is that there will be stronger hurricanes in the eastern United States. You will cause that.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Sue Bottiglieri, and I am a parent of 2 children at Dobie Elementary, one in kindergarten and one in 2nd grade. My family lives in the Waterset community, and I'm here on behalf of many families who care deeply about strong public education in South Shore. Our community has shown a clear, consistent demand for public K-8 options. Within 5 miles of Dobie, we already have 6 K-8 charter schools and 1 K-8 magnet York. Dobie itself has more than 700 students, and our principal is concerned we may run out of space before the new Waterset K-5 opens. Nearly 900 students zoned for Dobie currently attend K-8 schools elsewhere, almost 500 at charters, and about 350 at York Magnet. Families are choosing K-8 pathways, and most of those options today are charter, not public. In October, our parent survey gathered 260 respondents. Nearly half of respondents had children in alternative schools. Of those parents, 79% said that they would have chosen Dobie if it had been a K-8, and over 70% said that they would definitely or probably return to Dobie if expanded. 75% of charter families specifically said that they would enroll back in Dobie if expanded. Many are challenged with children split across different campuses, and top reasons families chose charters were academics and safety. This shows strong demand for a high quality public K-8 option. York Magnet is excellent but full. Public schools, not charters, are the backbone of South Shore, and families deserve consistent K-8 and middle school pathways. We fully support the district's work at Eisenhower and Shields, especially the expansion of rigorous academic programs like Cambridge. Expanding Dobie would complement, not compete with, these improvements. Eisenhower will attract families wanting advanced programs, while Dobie would serve families seeking the stability of a K-8 model in our growing community. With tremendous growth in our area, families are making decisions now. Competition is increasing, including a new pre-K-8 Catholic school in Ruskin and Montessori schools considering middle school expansion. We must keep families in our public system. Expanding Dobie to a K-8 would bring students back, keep future families in public schools, and strengthen South Shore's entire school ecosystem. We urge the district to commit to funding a 6-8 addition at Dobie as a systemic solution that supports all of our public schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have speakers 6 through 10 line up? Next speaker, please.
That's okay. It's right here. It's fine. Okay, ready? You just read right there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Abriana. I am a 2nd grade at Dobie. I love my school and my teachers. They are nice and they help me when I need it. I like learning new things. I love my friends at Dobie. We play and work together. My little brother Gianni is at Dobie with me. He looks up to me and I help him. I feel sad that I don't go to the same store as lots of my friends. I wish we could come to Dobie too. Please make Dobie bigger so I can stay here through 8th grade. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Laura Garcia, and I'm a parent of 2 children in kindergarten and 5th grade in the Waterset community. A few weeks ago, I shared the strong interest our community has in expanding Dobie to better meet the needs of our students and families. Tonight, I want to emphasize why this expansion is not only beneficial, but necessary for the South Shore area. Parents are actively seeking high-quality, safe, and academically strong middle school options. Our recent survey made this very clear. Families shared concerns about academics, safety, bullying, limited extracurriculars, and the lack of a consistent pathway. At the same time, a large majority said they would have chosen Dobie if a VPK through 8 option had existed. That is measurable evidence of real existing demand. This is not just a preference, it is a need. Our population is growing quickly, and families want stability and continuity. Dobie has already earned our trust at the elementary level. Expanding it would allow students to remain in a safe, cohesive school community through 8th grade, reducing transitions and supporting stronger academic outcomes. We are not asking the district to create interest. The interest is already here. We are asking the district to respond to the expectations of the families it serves. Parents have made it clear that we need more high-quality public middle school capacity, and expanding Dobie is the natural and community-supported solution. A Dobie expansion aligns with family needs, strengthens student success, and supports all schools in South Shore, including Eisenhower and Shields, by creating strong, stable public school pathways. I urge you to recognize this momentum, honor the feedback you invited, and take action that supports our students, our families, and the future of public education in our community. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
My son will speak now. He attended Dobie.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Alejandro. I am a 10-year-old. I wanted to share you my story because school has been a big adventure for me, sometimes a little too big. Since kindergarten, I had to move school several times. Some moves were because my family changed homes, and some were because my parents were trying hard to find a school where I would, or not, feel safe and fit in. Every time I switched schools, I had to start over with new friends, new teachers, and new routines. It wasn't always easy. Last year, I ended up at Dobie, and it finally felt right. I had an amazing teacher who understood me. The staff were really kind, and I made friends who hoped would last longer than a year. For the first time, I felt comfortable and happy at school. But when it was time to think about a middle school, my parents didn't feel comfortable sending me to our zone middle school. They made a tough decision to move me to a private school because they wanted me to feel safe and get a good education. I understand that, but even though the school is nice, it doesn't go to middle school, which means we'll have to start research all over again. What I really want now is stability. I want to stay in one school long enough to build friendships that last. I want teachers who get to know me year after year. I want to feel like I'm part of a community, not like I'm just passing through. I know my parents are trying their best, but I'm asking you for your help. Please give kids like me more options, good, strong schools in our neighborhood where we can stay, grow, and finally feel settled. Thank you for listening. I hope hearing my story helps you understand what it feels like from a kid's point of view.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello there, school board members, and great job, kids, for coming up and speaking. My name is Juan Hernandez. I've lived in Tampa my whole life. I moved to the South Shore region in 2010. I have a 5th grader who's currently in Montessori and a kindergartner who's at Core Elementary. Through different needs, they've had different requirements, and we've kind of always tried to look at what was the best option for our children to go ahead and advance in their specific needs. Being that I have kids in different schools and in the public and private school, I've had a lot of conversations with other people in our area that go ahead and have a lot of different perspectives on what they're trying to go ahead and get from our schools. A large part of our community is applying for the Choice Lottery program at York. The reason that's happening for a lot of parents is they want to go ahead and have additional options and choices when it comes to middle school. Unfortunately, the demand for this is much greater than the capacity with the ever-growing population in South County at York. They just can't simply handle that kind of demand. This has partially been addressed with some of the expansion at Apollo Beach as well. But there are still many parents who are looking for additional choices and options out in South County. Our community wants to go ahead and see a continued focus on expanding the choices in our area while strengthening and supporting our public school system. Dobie's been a shining example of a school where, before population growth, families have felt comfortable and strong about their performance and what they're providing the kids, and they would feel that it's a great place to go ahead and expand because we already know that it can succeed. This expansion will go ahead and give more choices to meet the community's needs and attract students back to the school district instead of the growing presence of charter schools in our area. We want to go ahead and have more choices and have more choices created for parents in the southern part of the county and give the existing zone middle schools more support to improve what is happening on their campus to help ensure that parents are confident about our local public schools being able to meet the needs of our children by creating better havens for our students to thrive academically in a safe space. We want all the schools in the area to go ahead and succeed. We just feel that this is an additional complement and an additional choice that can go ahead and be of need for the area that is growing. So expanding Dobie to K area is a decision that is supported by the area and builds confidence in the community that the school district is preparing our students for life. And obviously a big concern for everyone is the co-location and the Schools of Hope. We want to go ahead and see a lot of focus to help drive more students back into the public school system because we feel strengthening that is going to be the biggest key for improving our schools and our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Ann DeMaio, and I'm a concerned citizen of Hillsborough County and a grandmother to a public school student. First, I want to say thank you for all you do for our students. They are the future and deserve the best education we can give them. I'm extremely upset with the passing of the Schools of Hope ruling. The government is working to destroy our public schools and dumb down children whose families cannot afford to send them to private schools. One of the steps put into place to accomplish this is the Schools of Hope. This program is designed to squeeze out public school students. By moving charter school students into public schools, not only does this disrupt learning experience by the public school students, it makes them feel they are not worthy to have their own space or just plain unworthy. The charter schools are run by private companies. The state gives the company money for each student, but then the company doesn't have to account for what they do. They move into public schools that they say is unused space where they don't pay rent and use all the public school resources such as security, maintenance, cafeteria, and so forth. It seems to me, as taxpayers, we are paying double. It's kind of like having strangers move into your spare bedroom. You've cleaned up after them. You have to clean up after them. Share your food with them, and protect them. They don't even pay rent. Public schools have made us the strong country we are, but we are woefully falling behind many other countries. Knowledge is power. We must continue doing everything we can to reverse this ruling. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gianni Hunt. I am a Hillsborough County resident. I'm a parent. Last board meeting, we discussed the Schools of Hope. And this time I want to give a little bit of clarity from the community's perspective. Schools of Hope is not reform. It is set up to be, like you said, Superintendent, a material impracticality. What seems technically possible on a spreadsheet becomes practically impossible in real classrooms, creating unsustainable burdens, draining property tax dollars from our public schools, forcing districts to operate with fewer resources, and destabilizing the very communities those schools are anchored on. In the discussion last time, we heard one board member call for secrecy, mocking the idea that this board should vote on a proclamation denouncing Schools of Hope and requesting clarity. That condescending position speaks volumes and undermines confidence in this board. I hope that that's not the way you guys are choosing to operate. So let's be clear. Secrecy is not a strategy. Transparency and collaboration is. Leadership means using every tool in your arsenal to protect our schools. Every tool. Yes, using economic leverage is strategic. Holding the line is strategic. And most importantly, informing and educating the community to get buy-in is strategic and also inclusive. If we are serious about minimizing the dangers of Schools of Hope, then this needs to be a collaborative effort. We need to see those efforts in our neighborhoods, not just behind closed doors. And I want to thank the board for publicly denouncing Schools of Hope. Thank you. We should denounce any policy that harms our communities, harms our students, and really pose a serious threat to our future. A proclamation is not just symbolic. It means we are in this together. It means solidarity. So thank you. It tells the public where this board stands and whether you protect our schools or allow harmful policies like Schools of Hope to erode them. That being said, that's not enough, and we need to do more. And we need to do whatever it takes, whether it's knocking on doors, whether it's holding town halls, whether it's sending out surveys, whatever it is to get the community to understand what's going on and to get their support, that's what needs to be done. And really what we want is pretty simple. We want transparency and collaboration. We don't want things to be happening behind closed doors without letting us know. We expect this board to stand as the voice of the community, and the path forward is clear. Either hide decisions in secrecy or build trust through solidarity. Either shut people out or engage them openly. The responsible choice is transparency. The responsible choice is accountability and genuine participation with the families you represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, and can I get speakers 11 through 15 to line up?
Good afternoon, John Green. It's a song that I listened to by Lil Wayne and Corday. It says, I need more love and less praying hands, right? I've been coming down here for a year listening, but we see y'all now. I see y'all. It's all about the NAACP. You talk about the School of Hope, the charter schools who can go into the schools and get free space. But recently, you closed the school and you put their financials on display. You told that they're an F school and everything else. But yet, you let the NAACP in, who does nothing, zero for the community. I don't know what this community, how you look at the NAACP as a voice for the black community, but they're not. They don't have the power that they used to have. I watch y'all put up pictures where y'all go to events, display how awesome the events was, but not once have I been coming down here for a whole year have you displayed anything about the NAACP in which y'all let them rent for free, right? Yes, our kids all are important, every last one of them. But what has the NAACP done to show this community that they're actually doing the work, that y'all let have space over at Gary Adult School for free, right? I brought in a paper with your bylaws saying that they can't use your address. They still using your address. That's your bylaws. You don't even listen to, do you even recognize your own bylaws that you print? Now I'm waiting for you to send me the policy that says that you can let the NAACP in the school property rent for free, use materials, use your security, use your paperwork to do their work. It's not happening. I'm waiting for that policy. When are you, and I know you're trying to wait it out until the contract ends, but we, the community, we see y'all. The Tampa machine that y'all used to believe in is done. Nia Young proved that. The money's not going to work. The conversations with the people that you used to have is not going to work because it's a new team in Florida, and we watching y'all, and I see y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Mrs. Lucinda Johnson, and I'm here because of serious concerns regarding integrity, accountability, and student safety at Barrington Middle School, where my grandson Jashad is a student. On October 22nd, Jashad was cut by a sharp object in class, and the injury caused visible bleeding. I want to be clear, I only shared photo evidence of the injury because of the lack of accountability I experienced from Principal Andrea Whitman. Her written response stated that, Jashad left the classroom without permission and that there was no visible blood. This does not align with the actual injury and reflects a breakdown in accurate reporting and responsibility. Everybody has a copy of what I'm indicating. Attempts to resolve the issue. Because of the school's inadequate response, I had to escalate the matter to Regional Superintendent Mr. Van Aken and copy Dr. Holton. The delays and lack of clear action ultimately forced me to file an OCR complaint on October 29th. I also want to acknowledge Assistant Principal Mr. Stengoni for previously apologizing and stating that he will take accountability for some of the issues my family has faced at Barrington Middle School. I appreciate his acknowledgement, but the continued incidents show that meaningful corrective action has not occurred by Principal Whitman. On December 3rd, Jashad experienced another serious incident. Another student touched him, continued to harass him. After he asked the student to stop, the student pushed him, and after Jashad pushed him back, the other student eventually knocked him to the ground. While on the ground, the student stomped repeatedly on Jashad's head, causing his nose to bleed and leaving a visible contusion on his forehead. Despite these clear injuries, I was later told that Jashad allegedly made a threat. This does not align with the severity of the assault or the injuries he sustained, and it raises troubling questions, especially since this occurred after the OCR complaint was filed. Additionally, I received an email on December 5th stating the incident was still in progress, even though disciplinary action against Jashad had already been issued on December 3rd. This is yet another example of conflicting and inconsistent information. My request to the board, I'm asking the board to ensure a thorough and impartial investigation. No family should have to fight this hard to ensure a child's safety. Jashad deserves better, and so do all the students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. Christy Noe. I actually live in Collier County, but I'm here tonight in Hillsborough County on behalf of my client. I consider Hillsborough County home. I graduated from Gaither High School, was the first graduating class, and I began my teaching career here in Hillsborough County. I'm wanting to really thank the Office of Charter Schools here for all of their work that they did in working with us on the application for Terrace Academy of Excellence. I feel like Ms. Weary Crooks, her team, they were extremely thorough, they were extremely fair, they were extremely rigorous in the process. We work with clients all over the state of Florida, and I love coming to Hillsborough County because I feel like you have a set of experts who are dedicated to ensuring that any school that you're recommending approval for has gone through the process and is going to be a good, solid school. And so we look forward to working with you and collaborating with you as we open up our school in August. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Damaris Allen. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here together with you tonight. First, I want to say I am so glad that we opened with a recognition of the oversight committees particularly, because it's a real testament about what can happen when our community comes together, decides what is needed locally, and then works together to make that reality happen. Our students benefit. And I think that's why I'm so concerned about the Schools of Hope, is that it takes away the power from the school board, from the parents, from the community, and puts it in the hands of the organization who decides to request the space. We have experts in Hillsborough County, as was just referenced, that can look at whether this is the best thing for our students, whether this is the best thing for our schools. And we don't have the opportunity with this legislation to use that. So first, I want to thank those of you who have been out in the community, who've been talking to people, who've been sharing with them concerns about this. This is so important that the community is engaged in this process. We have a voice, and our students get to practice it here, and we get to practice it in Tallahassee, and our students get to practice it too. And I hope we will come together to fight for the schools our students deserved. I think there's two things that I want to say that I haven't heard talked a lot about with Schools of Hope that make me really concerned. One is in the State Board of Education rule, it requires the student data systems to be shared with the Hope operators. That means that our students' data is going to be shared without our permission as parents. And that's really, really concerning. And I think that's something that everyone should be alarmed about. There's no parameters around it. It just says access to student data systems. So that could be disciplinary records, anything. And I don't know about you, but during the holidays, I'm done with spam email. And the last thing I want is 1,000 schools asking me to leave the school I love and come to theirs. The other thing that was highlighted also earlier in this discussion was security. We've worked really, really hard in Hillsborough County to ensure our students are safe. What happens when there's 2 schools in one? How can there still be a single point of entry? Will there be any challenges? Will our students really be able to be safe? So while you don't have the power here, our parents and our students that are listening do, and I hope they will take action, that they will reach out and use their voice to protect our community schools for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, board members and Superintendent Ayers. My name is Ellen Lyons, and I urge a full repeal of the 2025 School of Hope amendments. Now, your board has issued a proclamation regarding Schools of Hope, and I'm proud of you for advancing this proclamation. It's a good document. Here in the state of Florida, Schools of Hope, these private for-profit charter operators have targeted hundreds of schools for co-location. And that essentially means that private for-profit charter school operators will occupy public school facilities for free. They'll get free electricity, free transportation, free building maintenance, and free use of athletic facilities and equipment. Now, aside from the fact that we, the taxpayers, will have to pay all of these costs for the for-profit private operators, an equally significant issue is the use of athletic facilities and equipment by these for-profit operators, who will now be able to keep our public school students from using the fields on certain nights and use or ruin our athletic equipment paid for by the school. And we're going to have to pay the turn the lights on for their games. The 2025 School of Hope amendments have a dystopian angle as well. Schools of Hope will be able to access each school district's student information system, just like HCPS now does. Now, right now, HCPS isn't using the private student information for advertising or for recruiting, but there are no limits on what the private for-profit operators can do once they get their hands on this information. And once private operators take public school space, there's no mechanism to claw those spaces back. Worst of all, private operators are targeting neighborhood schools with grades of A and B. They are schools that are stable and doing really well. The School of Hope amendments are not about rescuing failing schools. They are about occupying space in successful schools. I support your proclamation, and I hope that you will use it to educate the public about the seismic shift of public assets to private actors if the Florida legislature does not repeal the 2025 amendments to the Schools of Hope statute. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, and can I get speakers 16 through 20 to line up, please?
Good evening, distinguished members of the board. Hello, my name is Anika Cunnin, and I'm the president of Robinson Advocacy Club and a member in Mr. Van Air's Superintendent's Advisory Council. But most importantly, I'm a student here in Hillsborough County Public Schools. And today I want to share a topic that's really close to my heart, and that I want to say that I'm really thankful that in Hillsborough County Schools that we have free breakfasts for students as well as most schools offering free lunches. However, many of the lunches, utensils, and dishes that we use are plastic. And this is a problem for many of us because we offer a lot of hot lunches within our school district, which is incredible because it offers a hot meal for a lot of students. But multiple times a week, we fail to consider the BPA, phthalates, and microplastics that could get leached into the food when we eat through these plastic utensils. I am incredibly grateful for these opportunities, but I think it's important we consider that perhaps we should go to a path where we go away from these plastics. Our club spoke to Representative Gonzalez Pittman, and we've also been working with Ms. Shawnee Hall for Hillsborough County to try and figure out how we can make a change in this. But I do have a call to action with our school board members. I want our school board to host a workshop on ways our district could reduce the use of plastic in the cafeteria. In the past, I've spoken to members in our community and our own principal, Mr. Brown, and he shared that there used to be metal utensils and metal trays that were used in schools. And I think it's important that we consider that perhaps, maybe not necessarily metal, but even if we're able to find an alternative, even just removing a couple of plastics within a couple schools could make a huge impact, not only on our health, but also our environment. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm a student in the IB Diploma program at Robinson High School. I'm also with the Advocacy Club. The IB Diploma program is a rigorous program for high-achieving students. Often, teachers expect us to know what we want to do in life after high school. While this is true for some people I know, plenty of people don't know what they want to do. They can be uninterested in mainstream jobs. In school, we're taught about jobs like firefighters, doctors, and lawyers. Personally, I've never been passionate about any of these jobs. I found my passion after personal research. Because IB students are often excluded from opportunities such as the Future Career Academy, which is a program intended to show different and unique jobs to students. By showcasing jobs in this way and opening job opportunities to all students, we can reduce student stress and have more students with decided majors entering college. Currently, about 20 to 50% of Florida students go into college undecided. Hopefully, this can help reduce that number. Similarly, supporting resources for current and former foster youth could be better advocated for. My old foster mom taught me about a post-adoption fee waiver. This reduced tuition completely for college. This is offered to kids who are in foster care. However, none of my counselors knew what this was or how to access it. This left me struggling to find a solution. With more counselors educated on these benefits, students could be better supported and feel less stress. With over 2,000 Hillsborough County students in foster care, this education could help kids in unforeseen ways. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Reed Taggart, and I'm a student at Robinson High School in the IB program, and I'm also part of the Advocacy Club. Today, I want to be outlining the reasons I oppose the co-locating Hope Charter Schools in our public school system. The first reason is that these Hope Charter Schools drain resources from already underfunded public schools. As I said, I'm in the IB program, and it has proved to be extremely successful in my high school career, and I really appreciate what it does for me and my school. But as this is a magnet program, it is not owned privately as these Hope Charter Schools are. Secondly, the empty seats rule under the Hope program is vague and dangerous because it allows Hope Charter Schools to claim space in any public school and does not have clear outlines, and as was stated before, they are now targeting A and B grade schools, which was not the original intent. Thirdly, Hope Charter Schools undermine democratic local control by allowing unelected state officials to override decisions of locally elected school boards. This fundamentally weakens community oversight and removes voters' ability to guide the direction of their own public schools. Additionally, Hope schools take public dollars without having to meet the same public school standards, as they are not held to the same accountability, transparency, staffing, or testing standards.
Charter schools also have a documented history of excluding vulnerable students. Although they claim to be open to all, many have been found to use enrollment preferences or practices that disadvantage ESC students, English learners, and low-income families. Research from the ACLU shows that 250 out of 1,000 charter schools violated state law by excluding certain students. Additionally, charter and Hope schools do not outperform public schools. In Florida, there are roughly 12 schools of Hope in 2024. 8 of them earned C or D grades, not better than the failing schools that they were intended to replace. Also, co-location threatens magnet programs like IB that are already proven to work. Districts already have successful, non-profit, public magnet programs that have a proven track record of raising achievement without bypassing accountability. Furthermore, Hope operators are often private or for-profit companies with access to student data, as was stated before, and this proves a lot of risks to safety and student security. Also, charter schools are not required to provide the same level of special education, and many charter schools lack adequate ESC staffing and resources, meaning students with disabilities are pushed back onto public schools while funding is siphoned away from the schools that do deserve them. For this reason, I oppose the co-location and support repealing the 2025 amendments to Florida's Schools of Hope statute. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Phi Tran, and I'm a student at Robinson High School and also part of the Advocacy Club. Today, I'd like to talk about the issue that is food waste in most of our schools today. As a student, I really appreciate the opportunity to get free lunch as a student, but I also noticed that we only get like a well-sized portion, and that most of the food after usually gets wasted. I see this as a missed opportunity for redistribution for our food that can be beneficial to other students as well as the community that we have. And so with this, I like to say that not only will it take not one big solution, but rather a lot of small solutions that can combat this conflict. So with this, I hope that we can implement shared tables to place any unopened drinks and food containers that other students can grab that can benefit their own nutritional goals, as well as reduce the food waste that we can resolve. And with that, it helps students be more aware of the issue that a lot of other schools go through, as well as our own. And so they can take accountability for what they're doing and how they can also resolve the conflict with that. And I think with this as well, we can also, for example, be donating and redistributing those unopened and unwasted food to local charities and food banks such as Feeding Tampa Bay and other minority-sized food banks that don't usually get opportunities like this, because I believe that when the opportunity is open, it should be taken. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, board members. I'm in 12th grade from Robinson High School. I'm a student at Hillsborough County Public Schools. One spring morning last year, I was a junior coming from swim practice, rushing to get to school on time. I grabbed the first outfit I could find, and I ran out the door. I arrived at 8:26 and was speeding through the halls, hoping that I could make it to class just in time before my teacher closed the door at 8:30. When I walked by one of my assistant principals, however, I was told to go to the Office of Student Affairs because the clothes that I had haphazardly thrown on that morning were apparently not in line with the student dress code outlined in the student handbook. What she didn't know that day was that I was a new student who had just moved to Hillsborough County Public Schools because my parents are in the military. Not only was I unaware of the specific rules, but I was also struggling to find my identity and confidence in my new environment. The current dress code in place for middle and high school students emphasizes that shorts must be longer than fingertip length, with no spaghetti straps and no pajamas allowed. However, just above that clause in the student handbook, it is stated that the intention of the dress code is to allow students to feel safe and healthy at our schools. The fingertip length rule and other rules using specific metrics to ensure what is right and wrong does in fact the opposite of this intention. Everybody has, especially during the formative years of middle and high school, everybody looks different, and such guidelines, mainly targeted at female students, can be misrepresented to promote body dysmorphia and make students feel uncomfortable in their own skin. It tells students that there's something wrong with them that they should be hidden. My experience with this administrator ended with me going home in tears and missing a whole day of school because I was distraught over my pair of purple shorts, which I'm wearing today. Now, I do agree with this administrator that certain standards and rules must be in place so that students can learn in a safe and healthy environment, but this was just one example of how the current standards can be used to hurt students in Hillsborough County as they are outdated and unfair. My proposition is that the board look into creating a student council where they can work with students to build a safer or a more fair and more up-to-date dress code, and that it would be redone every few years to fit with the current standards of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Emma Westerman. First of all, thank you for all you do for our students. I'm a parent at Benito Middle School in New Tampa. This is a historically high-performing school, and I just want to tell you about a situation at the school and ask you to reflect on it. So my child is gifted, and we work with a highly sought-after IEP advocate named Jenny Wojcik. She's the founder of IEP Advocate. As you may be aware, Jenny takes meticulous notes and has extensive knowledge of the district. One of the things that Jenny and I have noticed is that it's very difficult for students to get their services when there's no staff present to deliver those services. And I would like to know, what is the district's plan to recruit and retain the best teachers and staff, the best ESE teachers, or frankly, any ESE teachers? And I'd like you to consider perhaps starting with competitive salary offers for these talented teachers and staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. I'm a mother. My name is Giovanna Sawyer. I have 4 kids in your school district, 2 in elementary and 2 that used to attend Juta Middle School. I am devastated as a black mother. Okay, I don't know if this was an administrative order of a part of a drug corruption, but I need the board to investigate this matter. Your regional superintendent, when I first spoke with her, she asked me what happened. That is very unprofessional. As the person holding a regional superintendent position, she calls me 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. When I first came down here to your school board building, Ms. McCrae's secretary asked me, "You sure you wasn't at the school making a lot of noise?" That's very disrespectful. This is ridiculous. Okay, my daughter, she never had any problems in school. They attended early Head Start. My daughter was allowed access to a behavior specialist. He called me off of my daughter's personal cell phone on two different occasions. Why is a behavior specialist having access to my daughter when he's not my daughter's teacher? My daughter don't have any behavior issues. She don't take any medication. My son was called the B word every day by a Hispanic student, then slapped on the side of his head in class by the Hispanic teacher, then suspended for 2 days. I am a harassed mother. I've been harassed by your staff members at Juta Middle School. I'm asking that the principal be removed of his position. If he's not removed, I'm demanding the board to reassign his position. The things that were said to me by the staff members at Juta Middle School is very disrespectful, and I have been harassed. My children have been harassed. Well, me being a citizen of the United States of America, 45 years old, and I was a student of Miami-Dade Public Schools. My first cousin that I grew up in the house with is a protective service worker for Department of Children and Families. She has no children. She's been working for over 10 years as a protective service worker for DCF in Miami-Dade County. I grew up in the house with my other first cousin who works for the FBI in the office. This is very disturbing. I feel like this is corruption, a drug thing, administrative order. I'm asking that the principal, the superintendent didn't respond to me. Everybody needs to be investigated, and something needs to be done how they treated me and my children. This is not right, and this is not fair. And my oldest brother did 27 years in the Marines and is a resident of Jacksonville, Florida. This is not right.
Thank you. We will now move on to the consent agenda. Superintendent Ayers.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, all items on the consent agenda have been reviewed with board members by staff, and all questions raised were addressed, and any requested additional information has been provided.
I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Gray. Please vote when you see your lights appear. The consent agenda has been approved. I will now call on Superintendent Ayers to highlight our administrative appointments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we do have two future principals in the audience. Actually, they're principals now because it was just approved on the consent agenda. So we're going to start as soon as their pictures get up there. We're going to start with Miss Leanne Way, who is the new principal at Dover Elementary. Leanne, if you could come on down, please. Congratulations. So Leanne, and Miss Rennan, I think you'll like this, has probably one of our shortest bios because she's been 21 years in the school district and all at Knights Elementary. So there it is. But real quick, so Leanne began her career in 2004 as a fifth grade teacher at Knights. And then in 2009, she moved to the reading resource teacher at Knights. And then she was appointed to assistant principal at Knights in 2010, where she is currently serving. So now, from Knights Elementary to the new principal at Dover Elementary, Leanne, congratulations. Any family and friends that are with you, Leanne, if you want to stand as well, family and friends with Leanne? All right. So, thank you, Leanne. So, Leanne is the new principal of Dover because we do have a retirement. I do want to recognize Gina Becker. I saw her walk. There she is. Gina, come on down here. So Gina is our retiring principal over at Dover. Come on down here, Gina. So Gina began her teaching career in 1987 as a teacher at Sykes Elementary School in Lakeland, Florida. And in 1989, she's transferred to Dr. Phillips Elementary at Meadow Woods Elementary School in Orlando. Ms. Becker began her teaching career with Hillsborough County Public Schools in 1996 as a teacher at Walden Lake Elementary School. 1997, she transferred to Mintz as an administrative resource teacher. Ms. Becker was appointed AP for elementary instruction at Valrico in 1998. 1999, she then transferred to Cork as an AP for elementary instruction. Ms. Becker took on her first role as principal in 2005 at Wilson Elementary School. She was appointed principal at Dover in 2018, where she's currently serving. Ms. Becker has worked in education for 35 years and served as a principal for 20 years as a school principal. Gina, congratulations on your retirement. Congrats. And we do have one additional principal appointment, and that is Asia Atkins Senatus. Asia, if you could come on down, please. All right. So Asia began her career with Hillsborough County Public Schools in 2013 as a kindergarten teacher at Oak Park. The next 5 years, she would go to teach grades 1st, 2nd, and 4th at Oak Park before becoming the school's reading coach in 2020. She then transferred to a reading coach position for the Transformation Network in 2021. And in 2022, so all that time at Oak Park, 2022, she was appointed AP at James Elementary. And then Miss Atkins Senatus was then appointed assistant principal at Oak Park Elementary in 2022, where she's currently serving. So you can see her almost entire career over at Oak Park. Great story. Now she is the new principal at Oak Park Elementary School. Asia, congratulations. And any family and friends, Oak Park? I see Mr. Moody there. All right. And so Asia, congratulations. And Asia's fulfilling the position of principal as AP. She served under Mr. Ryan Moody, who now works under Mr. Lewis in staffing allocations in our budget office. So, Mr. Moody, thank you for your leadership over at Oak Park. And I know Mr. Lewis has already put you to work already. I know that. So congratulations to both of you. Madam Chair, those are the principal appointments.
Thank you. And we'll give you a moment to step out for your celebrations.
They never had that. Great.
The following items will now be heard. A03, C101, C203, C204, C301, and C601. A03, proclamation regarding charter school co-located schools of hope. Mr. Porter will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. Board, you will recall at the last board meeting, Ms. Gray made a motion that passed that a proclamation be brought forward at this meeting expressing concern on this board's part about the Schools of Hope co-location legislation. What you see before you is that proclamation that reflects the comments made by the board members. It has been vetted by the board's lobbying team, and it's ready for your approval or consideration. Thank you.
I need a motion and a second to approve item A03. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Vaughn. Any questions or comments? Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a few comments on that one. I want to thank the board members also for their consensus on the proclamation, along with Superintendent Van Ayers. The co-location of schools of hope within existing public school facilities has raised several concerns among not only our board members, but many of the constituents, as seen tonight. The primary issue is the use of public school funds. Many believe these resources should be directed towards strengthening the neighborhood public schools rather than supporting privately managed entities such as the Schools of Hope. And furthermore, questions have been raised as to why another school system should be allowed to operate rent-free within public school buildings. Now, it was also mentioned tonight by a constituent that there was a lack of collaboration and certainly, probably most likely, a lack of oversight if it's manifested into another school. The concern is the absence of verbal and fiduciary collaboration with the Florida legislature. We had no say in this particular decision, and the decision was made on Senate Bill 2510, which pertains to the implementation of this new public school model without a shared and consistent understanding among all involved entities. Several critical topics have not been discussed with the superintendent nor the school board. Talking about the specific concerns, number one, it's not prioritized, but they're all equally important. Student safety and liability issues, possible lawsuits which could evolve from fighting, drug usage or sales, bringing of weapons, and other negative behaviors. Security is number one. The safety of our students is paramount. Two, operations. The upkeep of external and internal building maintenance, such as HVAC, custodian cleaning of classrooms, and the overall school site. Human resources, sharing of administrative duties, resource officers, this is to name a few, nurses, social workers, PTAs, all this to be shared along with the athletic facilities and the grounds thereof. Fourth, sharing of common spaces such as cafeterias and media centers, creating safety and equity issues. And how about grade level safety? Are we going to mix higher grades with the lower ones, even if it's a K through 8, or especially if it's a K through 8? And that's a big concern. Now, we are reminded that co-located charter schools such as the Schools of Hope will add a certain number of students. Each of their students will receive the same amount of public tax dollars as traditional public school students, except, big exception, they do not have to pay for those items I mentioned, which in a nutshell include physical buildings, its operations, nor human resources. This extra funding is coming off the backs of our financial, traditional well-being, traditional public schools well-being. Inclusive is our fund balance. So this is just a small amount of rationale as to the absurd notion of allowing another school entity, which, by the way, as one of the students even mentioned, prior, the Schools of Hope had a C this year, but previously had a D. So if they're going into the very highly recognized schools, that's going to rub a lot of folks wrong, and as it should be, in any other school for that matter. So we are regarding this as a board. Thank you, board members, for this proclamation. We are not happy about this, and I look forward to board members having perhaps some discussion on this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to share my op-ed that was released with the Tampa Bay Times yesterday regarding the Schools of Hope. Schools of Hope are not the future Florida taxpayers or students deserve. The original purpose of Schools of Hope was noble in theory. It was created to support schools with low performance that needed urgent help, and although the plan had weakness, the intent was connected to academic need. Today, the program looks very different. The law has been rewritten so the state can target schools that are simply under-enrolled, even those with strong grades, stable leadership, and strong community support. A program that once promised to lift struggling schools has become a tool for shifting control away from local communities and into the hands of state officials. In Hillsborough County, we have direct experience with the School of Hope. If this is the model lawmakers want to expand, families and taxpayers should pay close attention. The school has faced repeated turnover in leaders and staff, student enrollment, and inconsistent academic results. Its grade dropped to a D and now sits at a C. Instability has become routine, and that instability affects the surrounding community as well. This is not a model that strengthens neighborhoods or builds trust. It is a model that struggles to sustain itself. Despite this record, lawmakers are now pushing to require districts to give Schools of Hope operators free use of public school buildings. Districts would pay for custodial work, transportation, cafeteria services, security, and maintenance, while private operators manage academics and receive the benefits. In reality, taxpayers would be funding two systems inside the same building. One is accountable to public through elected boards. The other answers to private organizations, including national companies with no connection to the local community. This is especially troubling because Florida already underfunds its public schools. Districts work every year to stretch limited resources to pay for safe facilities, transportation, mental health supports, and certified teachers. Asking local taxpayers to subsidize private operators inside public buildings while those same buildings face budget limits is simply not responsible. Even the Florida Parent Teacher Association has called this proposal an unfunded mandate because it forces districts to cover services that directly benefit private tenants. Districts are receiving a large number of notices, even from companies that admit they plan to openly only a few schools. When operators submit far more notices than they intend to pursue, it becomes obvious that they're searching for free space, not planning thoughtful expansions. Increasingly, this looks like an effort to help students and more like an attempt to acquire public property without paying for it. Safety is another issue left unaddressed. As a school board member and a lifetime educator, I know how complex it is to manage student supervision, secure entry points, emergency drills, and shared spaces. Placing a district school and a charter school in the same building creates overlapping rules, different leadership structures, and conflicting procedures. The law does not clarify who's responsible for crucial safety decisions or how accountability should be shared. At a time when districts work to create consistent and reliable safety protocols, the state has created a system that adds confusion instead of clarity. Under the law, any school that opens below capacity can be targeted for space by a School of Hope operator. This places districts in a difficult position. If they build the capacity their communities will eventually need, they risk losing part of the school to a private operator. If they hesitate to build, families lose access to the facilities they were promised. When board members warn that a significant public investment could be handed over to a private company, they're raising a serious concern about how taxpayer-funded property will be used in the future. What we're seeing is part of a large pattern in which the state takes control of decisions that should remain with the local communities. When the state removes authority from elected school boards and concentrates in Tallahassee, the result is a system that becomes less responsive to the people it was meant to serve. I believe in strong public schools, and I also believe in high-quality charter schools. Both have a place in Florida, but this initiative does not raise standards, encourage innovation, or strengthen communities. It places public assets at risk, complicates safety, and weakens local authority. Florida can support choice without undermining the schools that anchor our neighborhoods. To do that, we must insist on policies that respect local decision-making and protect public resources. Hope should mean stability, transparency, and real support for students. It should not be used to justify giving control of public buildings to private interests. Families deserve a future shaped by community voices, not by the state mandates that place local control out of reach.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, first I want to say I appreciate this proclamation and the wording on it. I think that there'll be a lot more conversations from personal board members about how we feel about Schools of Hope in general. Just coming from FSBA, which is the state School Board Association, it was interesting to see the conversation bipartisan around the concerns of hope. And I think that regardless of what you feel about vouchers or school choice, the fact that we had to outline here these kind of 4 points, that what we're simply asking around this are a definition of underutilized, underused schools and excessive seats, and establish a reasonable threshold for school utilization, that we're asking for Schools of Hope to only serve students of the same grade level as a traditional public school, that we're asking them to provide safe harbor for new schools within the first 5 years of being built, and that at the very least, we're just asking the Schools of Hope to pay the district for services utilized, including but not limited to custodial, maintenance, school safety, food services, nursing, and student transportation. The fact that we have to create a proclamation that is asking public schools that are getting the per pupil money to pay for the services of those students is just, it's the very least that we could do. So I appreciate this proclamation. I think that these are all valid. One thing that I hope that I am asking for that is separate from this proclamation is I still haven't gotten any answers around growth. If our unutilized schools, if our neighborhoods expand and we have community growth, and those Schools of Hope have taken our seats, I'm still unclear about whether we're going to have to build new schools now to accommodate growth. This provides zero flexibility in the changing of our neighborhoods. I mean, we could have a school that's unutilized, a School of Hope could come in, we could have 5 new housing complexes come in, and then there's no room from those in our existing schools, and now we have to build a school at 5 times the amount or 10 times the amount it originally cost. So I think this is a good start. I know, that for whatever reason it's controversial, but I don't think there's anything in here that is unreasonable and the very least of an expectation of what a public school should be doing. If you're getting public dollars, you should be accountable and transparent, and you should be paying for the services that your students are utilizing at the bare minimum. So I appreciate the wording on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Gray?
I'm so sorry, Madam Chair. I just skip me. Go right to shake. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, I appreciate the proclamation because we have to realize you can't run two schools in one school. Being a former administrator and principal, you know, it's very difficult to run one school. And when you're trying to put another school in there that don't have the same policies and procedures, and we got many people sitting out there who have been principals, you know, you're trying to put another school in your school that you have different policies and procedures. Number one, it caused a lot of problem with the parents. Number two, it's going to be discipline problems. And last but not least, it's going to be hard to control. Because if my policy is different from your policy, and your kid does something on your side of the house, and my side of the house, if you do that, boy, you're going to go to ISS, then it presents a problem. It's going to be a problem. So we need to work and not be derogatory, but make decisions, feasible decisions, decisions that people can understand, that you can't have two schools in one. You got to have one school to be successful. Last but not least, thank y'all for this proclamation. We voted on it, and it's very well put in place, and I appreciate that. And, hey, I got to go with this proclamation because it sounds good. It sounds really good, and it's all in perspective. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Although I voiced many concerns regarding different decisions that have been made over the years, regarding different situations within our schools. The only problem I have with this, and one of the main problems I have with this proclamation, is it specifically talks of Schools of Hope. Schools of Hope are also the students of Hillsborough County Public Schools. And we in this proclamation are targeting that particular group. They were not responsible for the legislation. They were not responsible for the decisions that were made. And based upon that, I represent all students of Hillsborough County. And Schools of Hope are part of all of those students. And because of that, I will not be approving this proclamation. I do believe that we have to work collaboratively with our legislators. I believe we have to work diplomatically to make sure and ensure that legislation comes out of Tallahassee that understands the needs of all of our public schools within the state of Florida. I believe that we need to work collaboratively with Tallahassee to make sure that we're doing the best thing for students. I believe we need to advocate for our students here in Hillsborough County, but that includes the students of Hope that are currently here in Hillsborough County. They are not responsible for what has happened, and they are not responsible for things that we or anyone feels upset about. And because of that, I will not approve this proclamation.
Thank you, Member Rendon. So, you know, this evening, Superintendent Ayers, we had recognition of the Citizens Oversight Committee. And I have five different points with the Schools of Hope. Number one is the lack of accountability. You know, when it comes to the Schools of Hope, they're not held to the same standards of transparency and accountability. And that leads to concerns about how taxpayer funds are being utilized and educational outcomes are being monitored. The way we talked about $1 billion and how we're able to monitor those funds going into our schools and the transparency with those funds. And also the privatization of education. You know, some may argue that Schools of Hope represents a step forward, but to this board member, it could lead to a shift in focus towards profit rather than the well-being and education of students. The next one is questionable success rates, as it was mentioned by also one of my board members. Critics of Schools of Hope have pointed out mixed results and the lack of substantial evidence demonstrating significant improvements in academic outcomes compared to our traditional public schools. Also, the disruption. Although we have our students of Hillsborough County, there's going to be a disruption in our communities. And we've seen communities come up here and speak to the fact that they don't want disruptions in our communities. And this introducing external entities like Schools of Hope into public school districts may cause disruptions into these communities and existing relationships that undermine the role of not only the schools but stakeholders in decision-making process. And then resource allocation. You know, some may argue that resources invested in supporting Schools of Hope can be better used and utilized to improve existing public schools and address systematic issues within our public education. And those are my 5 points, and that's why I support this proclamation. Member Combs?
Thank you. I would remiss without making a comment. I also represent all the students in Hillsborough County Public Schools. And I'm a board member for Hillsborough County Public Schools. Schools of Hope, they have their own board. So with all due respect, I can't understand why I'm allowing for me to pay double for a student. Why, Member Rendon, with all due respect, why would I pay Schools of Hope for their cafeteria, for their transportation, while they take that money and I have to pay double and they're making profit? Most of these companies coming in are for-profit companies. So for me, it doesn't make any sense. Over and over, I sit here as a school board member and I'm elected to push for Hillsborough County Public Schools. I wasn't elected to represent the Schools of Hope. I'm here for Hillsborough County taxpayers. I'm not here for New York City or some Matter Academy or whatever that's coming somewhere and bringing legislators and taking them everywhere for profit. This is ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how we're getting here and people are not fighting this, and then we have people on the board who don't even represent our public schools. I'm sorry. With all due respect, we are here to make sure that we're not double paying, that if there's a gun in a school and if it's a School of Hope, who's responsible? What happens? I mean, enough is enough.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Washington?
Okay, you know something else came to my thought. I used to be a high school coach. How about athletics now? It's going to present a problem with athletics. Because School of Hope, if you come into that school, you could play for that school unless they change the policy. It's going to have to be some changes on the policy for athletes, because I can see a kid can play at one school and go to another school easily and go to the School of Hope, because I don't see any boundaries for the School of Hope. So if I'm playing at Milton High School and they got the School of Hope over at Brandon High School, I can go there and play if I go to that school. So it's going to present a problem in either way, especially in athletics, because one school can become dominant if you think about it, people that knows about athletics, because you could get all the kids in this school, then your school will become dominant. So it's a lot we have to do in order to make the School of Hope cooperate with the public school system, and I don't see that happening. Thank you. I just wanted to add that part, being a former coach.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Gray?
Yes, and Member Rendon, we are reminded that every one of these school board members that's sitting on this dais are representing the health and welfare of all students. And some of us have been there and here many years. That's not the argument, that's not the question. The question really, and thank you, Madam Chair, for enumerating those points, because when you enumerate what happened tonight, you see the community can get fragmented with another school coming into their community. You can see the culture and the identity of that school when it has another school in it evaporate, crumble. You know, where's that? Go Tigers at Middleton. What if Middleton has another school? So this is a misalignment. You can also expect tension between and among the students and staff, and they're subject to different rules. The code of conduct, I have no idea where that's going to come from. But also, if we are really getting involved with technicalities, they are able to share the Canvas, our communication system. So if anyone in here is worried and concerned about privacy, well, now you're opening up student information, public school information, students, parents, to another organization. They have to share Canvas. So all these and more, every one of the board members have definitely hit upon, and those are just hit upon the concerns, but there are so many more. But anyway, thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to fill in some more blanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Vaughn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, as we've been discussing this, I just thought about a point that I wanted to highlight. You know, last week we had our Commissioner of Education come to our FSBA meeting and basically threaten counties that push back against Schools of Hope with closing down specific counties or passing legislation to penalize board members who speak out against this. But the striking piece of that conversation was propping up our marginalized communities and acting like speaking out against Schools of Hope is hurting our marginalized students. And, you know, as I look through this, the fact that these schools are coming in, I don't see any extra money going to support students. I don't see extra money that they're not going to be paying for going back in the communities. I don't see a push towards extra reading coaches or things to support any learning gaps from the communities that they say that they're bringing hope to. In fact, from everything that I've read about them, the teachers don't have to be certified. There's less accountabilities in the Schools of Hope. And if you look at the track record in Hillsborough County, they're not offering hope to our students. So I think the biggest frustration around this is to act like the fact that any board member who cares about our marginalized communities and point out that allowing for-profit schools to come in and take our per pupil funding while we fit the bill for the students and make that money off profit while our students are just backpacks full of cash under the name of supporting marginalized communities is problematic. The way that you, again, support those communities, if they're not going to pay these fees, is to reinvest them back into the communities or into the students. And there's no plan or outlay of how the money that they're saving by not paying for the services that they're offering our students are going to offer hope to any of our marginalized students. They're not talking about opening early learning centers or anything to make sure that our students have access to education at an earlier age or anything to make sure that we're giving students more hope. So the thing that upsets me the most is this is on being touted on the backs of our most vulnerable, marginalized students who will be attracted to these schools, and they're not offering any extra resources for the money that they're getting out of paying while we're fitting the bill for these services. And I just want to make that clear to anyone who insinuates that we're hurting marginalized students by speaking up against this, that that's the antithesis to what's really happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Seeing no further comments or questions, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes with member ending descending from the vote. Our next item is 101, Hillsborough County Public Schools Agreement Addendum to Project READ AI Incorporated. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Project READ uses AI to strengthen how teachers implement our Youth Life Foundations by connecting student progress data directly to lesson planning and decodable reading practice. This purchase will give educators real-time tools to form groups, generate aligned lessons, and produce decodable stories that precisely match the phonics skills students are learning. The goal is to streamline foundational reading instruction so teachers can spend more time teaching and students can make faster, more consistent progress across grades. That is item 101, and Sarah Garcia, our Executive Director, Elementary Education, and of course Tracy Bergman, Assistant Superintendent, Academic Services are here. If you have any additional questions or information regarding 101.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve item C101. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Washington. Member Gray, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank also Sarah Garcia. You hear that New York accent, Sarah Garcia, and Gary Brady and Tracy Bergman. You know, when we introduced AI in our school district, which is a huge initiative, one that we can be very proud of, I thought it very, very important that we hear how this particular initiative integrates with the UFly assessment and planning portal. Also, what's very important too is our teachers love it. 7 pilots, and these teachers say it's saving them time. It's a tremendous value for decoding, phonics education. But I'm out of my world of study. But you're not. So Sarah or Tracy, can you share what the teachers are saying about this and the advantages? Thank you.
Of course, I'd be happy to. We do believe this is a powerful use of AI in education, and it's a really exciting item for us. Project Read not only decreases the teacher workload and saves teachers time, but it also ensures that all of our students have access to targeted, data-driven instruction that's aligned to the skill gaps that they need more practice with. Because what Project Read does is when the students take their weekly UFly assessments, the teacher scans it in, and it automatically scores it for the teachers. It analyzes the data, and it gives them recommended instructional groupings for the following week that are targeting those specific phonetic skill gaps that the students need more practice with. It also generates lesson plans for each of those individual groups. So it saves teachers time, but it also ensures that we're using UFly at the strongest level it can be in both whole group and small group. So for us, it's just the best of both worlds.
And what's our next step? We have the 7 piloted schools. Are we going to expand?
Yes, so if this is approved tonight, we will be scheduling training in January. It's just 1-hour virtual training. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's not intense training, and we'll be offering 4 different sessions to our teachers and 1 to administrators and reading coaches in January so they can hit the ground running and start using this product. The research from the vendor says that once they log in, they use it continuously and regularly, because once teachers experience how much time it's saving them, they don't go back to the hand scoring method of that.
This is tremendous, and the fact that it makes the lesson plans as a former teacher, you know, it's a big item of a relief. Mr. Brady, you are going, I believe, to Tallahassee. Are you going to share this initiative up there to be a little precocious?
Well, it depends on what they ask me, but I intend to, because this is a perfect example of us using AI for its intended purpose. I mean, if you think about the school board policy, the human-centric approach, and then innovation and collaboration, this kind of hits both of those. And again, this is something that, of course, you know, might not have been part of the UFly curriculum when we adopted UFly, but now it's available, and as Sarah said, hours upon hours each week, and that allows us to really reach the maximum potential of UFly. We're in the 3rd year of UFly, and this is something that we hope will take us to the next level with that.
Yeah, I just can't thank, and I know I speak with the board in mind, the work that Tracy Bergman, Sarah Garcia, and you have put into this. And I can't wait to see the results as we go forward. So thank you very much for your commitment. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wasn't going to speak to this item, but since it was pulled anyway, I'm going to go ahead and kind of reiterate what we spoke about when we talked about this item, just to kind of make sure we publicly talk about it. I'm glad that employees are excited about this, teachers specifically. I always have concerns about professional development. We've talked about this. I feel like I sit up here, I ask questions about professional development. I get the answers assured about the access and how easy it's going to be. And then I go to my schools and nobody's been trained on any of the stuff that I explicitly ask about. So I'm going to continue to ask about how we're actually making sure the teachers that love this and want this and can utilize this are going to be able to access and be properly trained on it. So we've talked about that, and I know that this is for half the year, and this is kind of a test item that's coming back. I just want to also be clear that my biggest concern is we're paying for all students. But we're not even sure how many students are going to actually use this because it's for a specific group of students who need extra reading support. And again, we're not mandating all teachers are going to get trained on this, so we're not even sure what teachers are going to use it. So what I'm expecting when this comes back before us is a percentage of how many students used it, because right now, we're paying for every student, but if half of the students use it, I want to see some serious negotiation next year, or, when this comes back for us in 6 months or however long it is, because I feel like this is excessive to go out and pay for every student when we're not even sure that teachers are going to get trained on this or be utilizing it. So I'm concerned about that. And I think there was supposed to be a list sent of the schools that are going to be utilizing, and this is tests that could come and talk to the schools about. Was there a list of schools sent of test schools?
We can send you a list of the 7 pilot teachers, just what schools that they work at and who they are. We can get that to you. And then I know we also agree that we would touch base again in the spring and take a look at the data in terms of the usage numbers, how it's being used for core instruction, as well as the MTSS process, and give you an update and invite you to see it in action at one of those sites. So we'll have you out.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Again, I hope for all the enthusiasm behind it, that all of the teachers who are that enthusiastic are going to sign up for the training and be trained on it, and we're going to use this, and it's going to have the impact that we hope it does. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Combs?
Just a quick comment, because I know you have stayed for a while for this item being pulled. I remember when YouFly first came, and I was out at one of my school sites where we have a kindergarten teacher come here all the time, and I think she taught for 25, 30 years, and she was like, you know what? I love what I've taught. This is it. I'm not interested. And as soon as YouFly came, a few months later, she was like, I am such a believer. So people who taught kindergarten for 30 years, we have a big literacy issue all over this country, right? And in Hillsborough County, I'm hearing from teachers who've taught for 30 years that they really believe in the YouFly concept. I think your team, Mr. Brady, Sarah Garcia, you're so talented. Tracy Bergman, we are so lucky to have this team together. Very, very lucky. And as I've said for a long time, it's going to take about a couple more years before we really see it. Because when you look at when we implemented it, it takes about 3 to 5 years before you really see the change. All the changes, the books, the phonics, all the really, really systematic changes that you're looking at every school. So I believe in you. I trust this. And I think this is just continuing to move forward. And I just can't wait to see the outcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Now we will move over to time certain employee and student comment. We will now take employee and student input. Even though we hear from public comment at the beginning of the meeting, it's sometimes difficult for employees and students of our district to attend the meetings at 4. There are many ways for employees and students to make their voices heard, including through union representatives, emails, phone calls, one-on-one conversations, and public comment at the beginning of the meeting. The board wants to hear from you. With this section of our agenda, we are creating another avenue for employees and students to speak to the board. We are setting aside 30 minutes for employees of the district to speak to the board about any issues that are on your mind. It is not intended to be a discussion about specific agenda items on tonight's agenda, but rather an opportunity for you to speak to the board about any issues related to your job or the district. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. I will now call up the first speaker.
Good evening. My name is Regina Gambrell, and I'm the Vice President of ACTA. Today, I just wanted to come up and thank the superintendent and the board for our continuous collaboration this year. We really appreciate it. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Kelly King's office for their support during our PERC elections. Earlier this year, our clerical unit won our PERC election by 97%, which means that 97% of clerical employees believe in our union. Just yesterday, we had some more great news. Our instructional unit, our biggest unit, won their election by 98%. So I just wanted to bring that aboard and thank you guys for the collaboration and the support throughout the whole year, as well as thank our members. Without them, our union would not exist. On a greater note, I know we are on a countdown as this year wraps up, and so I just want our staff and our instructional staff and our support staff to continue strong, wrapping up our Q2 and awaiting this ever so needed holiday break, second one, right? And to get ready for another prosperous year in 2026. Again, continuing collaborating with our school district as we prepare for bargaining. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further comments, we're going to go on to item 203, application approval for Terrace Academy of Excellence. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And board members, our next two items are charter applications. So I just want to take a minute, go through some bullet points just to kind of overview. We haven't had an application in a while, but as of July 1st, 2021, charter law permits an applicant group to submit an application at any time throughout the year for a school opening year to be determined by the applicant. A sponsor shall receive and review all applications for a charter school using the evaluation instrument developed by the Department of Education. The sponsor, which is us, shall receive and consider charter school applications for charter schools to be opened at a time determined by the applicant. And finally, once those applications are received, a sponsor shall by majority vote approve or deny an application no later than 90 calendar days after the application is received. So that's why you'll see this item today. Application we received within 90 days, it has to come before the board. So this particular one in front of you, Terrace Academy of Excellence, the proposed school will be located at 11734 Jefferson Road, Winona, Florida. It will serve students in kindergarten through 8th grade, and in its first year, the school will offer grades K-2 and 6 with a projected enrollment of 228 students. So that is the first one, 203, and Angela, Ms. Crooks is here, Marie Crooks is here, Mr. Murillo is here. Of course, if you have any additional questions regarding this particular item, which is Terrace Academy of Excellence, that's 203.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve this item. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Combs. Member Gray, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is more in terms of a congratulatory message. And you heard Christy No tonight saying that Ms. Crooks, your team has done an excellent, thorough job in screening how you screen charter schools. And I just wanted to give you that accolade and thank you for that. That was backed by the Patels, the school. And I have a lot of confidence that this will be a very successful school. Did you want to make any remarks regarding?
No, thank you so much. And they did do an excellent job on this application. Yeah. Like you said in the notes, they took our feedback and they withdrew it and they resubmitted it to make sure it was a strong application. They'd be ready to open their school.
All right, great job, Ms. Crooks. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just going to make one comment regarding 203 and 204. I want to thank both of the operators of both of these schools that took the time to talk with me, not in person, but because we do not have a school yet, but actually on the phone about their intentions for the schools. And I'm excited for when they do open their school to be able to come out, see their facility to make sure that it aligns with all of our state standards and everything that we want to do as partners with us in Hillsborough County Public Schools. So I do want to thank them for taking the time to do that. And of course, Ms. Crooks, doesn't matter what school I go to, they continuously commend you for the relationships you've built, the due diligence you do with all applications and all things regarding all of our partner charter schools. And so thank you so much for your office and all the hard work that comes out of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, first, I appreciate knowing where this one's going because I could not figure out where the other one was going. I know they don't have to identify that yet, but it is going to be, it's hard to tell if it's going to be between me and Shake because it looks like we share this district. He has some in it and I have some in it. So it's hard to tell exactly whose district this is going to fall in. My question isn't so much about the application, but Superintendent Ayers, what K-8s do we have in this district or around this area?
I'm not even sure on a map. Are you talking charter schools or
I'm talking about traditional public school.
our traditional K-8s? I would say, Ms. McCray, you can know, but I think it's 0 around that Thanodisassa. Do we have it on the, but K-8s, I think that the answer would be 0. I mean, I'm just thinking like a map in my head. I don't think we would have any K-8s, Ms. Brown. I don't think we do either. I think
No,
there's 0.
the closest school would be Patel. That would be, sorry?
Collins or York would be probably the closest. Yeah.
But not, yeah, to Thanodisassa, but nothing up for us.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
And which elementary school out of Folsom, McDonald, or Thanodisassa specifically is this one closest to? Will this be coming closest to?
Probably, I would say Folsom. It's not very close to really any of them, but probably closest to Folsom. Maybe Thanodisassa. Yeah.
So this may or may not be a question that you have, but let's say if we're talking about Folsom, that's at 68% capacity, based on the projected enrollment of this school, if it pulled solely from Folsom, where would that bring our enrollment for Folsom down to?
I don't have, what's the Folsom enrollment, right? I mean, again, I think it'd be hard to predict where exactly where the students would come from. I know our families at Folsom are very happy at Folsom. It'd be hard to predict on what percent of families from certain.
They're not as happy about middle school because they're dropping out because the next middle school is at 49%. So is that the closest middle school? Is Burnett or Jennings closer to this location?
Yes.
Equidistant?
So can you get me that information that I asked to follow up with based on either of these schools taking an elementary and a middle school, if it dropped per the capacity of this projected enrollment, what that would look like for those schools for me?
We can look into that, yes, and also, of course, charter schools do pull from all over. So like for example, the Patel Elementary and Patel High School pull from all over the district.
Oh, I'm very aware from where they pull. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is 204, application approval for High Point Academy Charter School. Mr. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And again, just same rules apply. That charter law permits the applicant to apply at any time throughout the school year. And then once we receive the application, we have within 90 days to approve or deny. This particular, Member Vaughn, you were mentioning the charter school that has no location. This particular charter school, High Point Academy, has not identified their location where they're open. The first year of the school will offer grades K to 8 with a projected enrollment of 400 students. But again, we don't have a proposed location, which they don't have to identify in the application, and that's 204.
I need a motion and a second to approve item C, 204. I have a motion by Member Renton and a motion by Member Gray. Member Combs and Member Gray pull this item. Do you have any questions or comments? Member Gray?
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. My question is really with for the attorney, Mr. Gibson. When we start having decisions made, and this is relevant to 204, the location hasn't even been established yet. The students we have a projected enrollment, but we don't know, but yet we're paying, our taxpayer money is paying for this particular application when we don't have, we don't even have any real finite enrollment figures. And on page 25, there is a comprehensive financial management system in place with a clear description of how the school finances will be managed, but there is no, again, definitive amount of students is projected, and there's no real location yet. It's to be determined. So why is this being brought forward when all of this is not even, a real situation? I don't know. This is a question that I'm concerned about.
It's a great question, and it's one that is obviously of concern. But under the Florida statutes, they're not required to provide a location at the time of application. So that statutorily, that's not a criteria you could use to deny this. They have to provide a location prior to opening. But the way the state law is structured, they don't have to do that, and we don't have really a choice in that particular criteria.
And the other matter.
And I would just add to that. Thank you, Mr. Porter. I would just add to that is that Ms. Weary Crooks, along with Mr. Lewis's team, when we look at charter schools and work through projections are one thing, and actual enrollment is something else. And Mr. Lewis's team in our charter office with Mr. Murillo, Ms. Weary Crooks, working with our charter schools on. Are those projections really something, or numbers that they're going to achieve? So that's some collaboration that's happening at a pretty high level right now. So we can project any number. This projection is 400. What it actual is, we'll have to see in the fall. But to your point, when you don't have an app, what we have to follow Florida statute, they don't need to identify a location. Once they do, I think we'll get hopefully a better idea of what that enrollment number might be.
I'm just thinking aloud, and thank you, both of you, for reminding me that they don't Florida statute, they don't have to say their location. But the projected enrollment, I think our CFO, Mr. Lewis, we already pay a proportionate share per year to charter schools. And we're projecting enrollment now. FTE is it's a lot of money, perhaps a difference between 100 students. And I think we need to be, and this is something, Ms. Crooks, you may want to do. Somehow we need to have a process where we have a figure for projected enrollment, and then the reality, how much is the enrollment. Now I'm trying to make this more accurate. Mr. Lewis, you go ahead and say something.
I think we could tag team this answer, but that does happen. Obviously, each year a projection, just like we try to project in some of our schools, occurs. That projection becomes reality at a certain part of the year. Just like us, we anticipate certain growth factors during the year based on where the school's at, and sometimes we see our enrollment fluctuate. We do collaborate on a monthly basis between departments and obviously with the charter schools to identify where that enrollment's at in comparison to where they originally calculated at. So we do estimate and we hold them accountable for that, and then we right size that number throughout the year as official enrollments come out and obviously as calculations come out from the State Department of Education. So it does happen, but it takes time during the year for that enrollment to be confirmed.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you do right size, and that affects the overall budget. Well, that's a comfort, but you get what I'm saying. We make there's no location, no real enrollment, yet we're spending money. So
I would just add that the projections are what they are, but in the end, the funding that our charter schools receive are for the number of students that they have, not what they project.
Okay, all right, sehr gut. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Vaughn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I appreciate that this one does have a mission statement, so I understand a little bit of what the educational philosophy is going to be. Do they already have a location in another part of Florida?
Yes, they do.
Okay, because does it give any more clarity around where was it? I just saw it. Oh, that the school's going to install a profound sense of empathy, ethical awareness, and global responsibility through an innovative curriculum that seamlessly integrates humane science, which I'm hoping maybe you can give me more clarity on, with traditional subjects. They aim to empower future leaders to embrace diversity, common compassion, and drive positive change both locally and globally. With the existing school, is there more clarity on what that curriculum looks like?
Yes, when we did our capacity interview, we had the same question. You know, what does that exactly look like? And they were able to share that it's really more character education. I think it's a long way to get around. Their school is based off character education, so similar to Leader in Me type of programs, but character education is where their focus is.
Do you know what a definition of humane science is?
We asked about that, and they shared that some of the things that they are exploring are more around ethical practices in some of their in their curriculum, and then they had some other research that they had provided. And I'm happy to get that. I don't have that specifics in front of me, but I do have the information that they shared when we did our capacity interview.
And have they indicated any part of Hillsborough that they're interested in?
Yes, they have indicated that they would like to move into the more the northwestern part of Hillsborough County, but they're under an NDA, so they could not give a location.
And do we know how long is the other school that's opened in the other part of Florida been open? I mean,
yeah, it's been open for quite some time. It's actually a high-performing school. So this
it is.
Yes,
that's what I was going to ask.
High-performing charter school. Yes.
So between an A and a B, between their school grades every year.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Combs?
Thank you, Chair Perez. You know, I see a really big fundamental difference between 203 and 204. You know, I see, you know, when I look at schools or charter schools, the purpose was like locally owned and operated. You know, with Dr. Patel, who's been here for so long, or I think about some schools, or I think about Brooks DeBartolo, things like that, where I've known Derek, or I've worked for him a long time ago, or volunteered for him many years ago. Those are like locally owned and operated. I see a big difference. And those schools like Brooks and Dr. Patel, those graduation rates are very high. Last year, our graduation rate here in Hillsborough County was 90.7. The charter school graduation was 66%. So for high school graduation, that's a really big, significant difference. When you see schools like that are here locally owned and operated, Brooks DeBartolo, they have very high graduation rates because they're here for students. You know, it's not about money. Even recently, I've even heard conservative legislators who are now concerned about this fiscal oversight on some of these charter schools. I've seen shows about it. You know, we're going to see soon, I'm sure we're going to see commercials about some of these charter schools that are not, you know, that there's no oversight. When you look at a school like this that doesn't have a location and they're spending your taxpayer money of $196,000 for management company, for management fees, people need to be aware. Not only is this charter school coming in from the outside, they are also coming in with spending almost $200,000 on a management. They don't have, you know, a location. And for me, as a school board member, I have no choice but to support it because it's the law. So it's really important for people to realize that not every charter school is made the same. There are some great charter schools in Hillsborough County, but when an outside charter school comes in with a management company, without a location, and I'm just glad to see that Democrats and Republicans are starting to be concerned about the oversight on some of these charters.
Thank you, Member Combs. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The next item is item 301, request for proposals, supplemental nursing staffing services. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. I know you're all familiar with our number of nursing vacancies that we have across our school district. This item, we use contracted nursing services to fill nurse vacancies. This contract will assist in filling the nursing vacancies and provide one-on-one nurses to care for the most medically fragile students. Current to note that this current contract will expire on December 15th of this year. Currently, HCPS uses 5 vendors and will increase to 7 vendors. They're Amerigus Healthcare Staffing, Clinical Staffing Resources, Hanker Systems, ND Global Consulting, Pro Health Services, and Sunbelt Staffing, and one more, Trifecta Incorporated. So that is 301. I know Maria Russ, our supervisor, you all know, or School Health Services. Ms. Tracy Brown is here, of course, to answer any additional questions, and Dr. Patton may need to get on this conversation as well, just to answer any questions around our item 301. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Dr. Russ. We need a motion and a second to approve item C301. Member Washington, I have a motion by Member Washington and a motion by Member Combs, a second. Member Rendon, Member Combs, Member Gray. Pull this item. Let's start with Member Gray.
Well, you know, Dr. Ross, you know how I feel about the nurses, and so does our CFO. You know, our school nurses are the critical part of a healthy school in many ways, physically, mentally, socially. And I have a big concern when we go to outside agencies. And Mr. Lewis, you know, we actually pay more for the outsourcing than if we pay the nurses for, you know, to step it up once. I mean, they've got a pay scale right now, nurses do, the same as transportation workers. Yet nurses are responsible for, and I want to say the word life and death, because now you have over 50% have chronic, severe health problems. This is in our students, among our students. But what happens is when you get a outside agency, how well do they know the student versus a nurse that's been there every year, keeps track of the students? So you're getting outside care, but how good is that care? Also, the average, most of these new hospitals, and some of them are opening emergency centers, the average pay for a nurse is so much higher than what we are giving our nurses. And if we really care, and I know we do, about the safety and well-being of our children, then I would suggest that we up that pay scale once up. And Dr. Ross, I don't know how you feel about that, but for me, this outsourcing is just gone. It's totally misaligned with the values that I have as a individual school board member, and the values meaning the health, physical health, mental health of our students. It's not going to cut it with me, all these outsourcing. Does anyone want to defend that and give me rationale as to why? And I know, Mr. Lewis, you're kind of digging into this a little bit more and more. You know, you just got on board not long ago, but I would like to know what we are doing versus more of this outsourcing. So please remark.
Thank you for that question, Member Gray. I'll be glad to answer it. So working in collaboration with Dr. Russ, we're creating a recruitment plan, and I think I've shared it with the board members. That's one of the things that HR does in December of the year, which is create the recruitment plan. And nursing is one of our critical positions that we're focused on. And so you can anticipate to see that plan come to you in January, explaining to you exactly what it is. But we also looking at incentives that we can do for the nurses. And, you know, we did, when we bargained last year, provide them with increases, but we understand that there's still more opportunities for us to do more. And so, again, in collaboration with Dr. Russ, we're going to actually be meeting on Thursday of this week to start working on that plan, so then we can say this is what we're doing intentionally to address what we need in terms of nursing. Our goal is never to have contracted services. Our goal is always to have permanent employees, and so we're focused on making that happen. And, you know, I'd love to hear from Dr. Russ, because as I said before, we're talking about that, we're fully aware of that, and our goal is to make changes towards that. But it's a plan that's going to help us do that. So we do have a targeted recruitment plan that we're working on.
Yeah, I just want to know, why don't we have this plan in tandem with this amount of money asked? Because on one side you're saying we don't want, you know, we're trying to get out of all these outsourced agencies. On the other hand, you're saying we have a plan. So my concern is all this is a lot of money. You're asking for some, at least I'll speak for myself. I don't believe in increasing outsourcing. I believe in investing in our own staff, and I think that's a priority. So it's just not going to fly with me, and I'm getting a little bit agitated, to be perfectly honest. So, Dr. Ross, I know you have some things to say, and then my time is up. Go ahead.
So, Ms. Gray, I just want to say that Dr. Patton and Ms. Brown and myself, we have been working also with our Jamie. And I know that, I believe, Dr. Patton, you all just completed it recently, or we're looking into doing a salary study, so I think that was the first step. So correct me if I'm wrong. And now we're building on that as part of it, in our meetings that we're going to start on Thursday as part of the plan.
That's correct. However, we've also, as we sit down every year, as we did last year, we include all of our critical positions, and nursing has been one of them. And so we are going to be bringing you information around what we successfully recruited for in terms of nursing last year, and it'll just be a build on of the plan that we have this year. So again, we understand that this is not the norm, and we're not going to say we're going to rest on our laurels, because we understand contracted staffing is not the way to go. So we are very focused on hiring permanent nurses.
And I thank you for that, Dr. Patton. I think we're putting the cart before the horse. You're asking for money, yet we don't have a plan. I guess the word plan is not the best word, but we have to have a solid financial ownership of this continuous, and I've been mentioning this for probably at least 3 or 4 years, but here we are adding more and more services to a critical position. I've said enough. Thank you, Madam Chair. I cannot support this item.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you, Chair President. I think this is a very complex issue. When I look at, 5 years ago in 2021, we spent $3.7 million, and here we are, 4 years later, and it's $11.6 million. And I have to keep this, because I know that when I see it in a year or two, I'll be like, wow, and the needs for our students are so high. Now more than ever, we need nurses in our schools. I mean, you see so many students are medically fragile. There's so many challenges, and it's really hard that we have to continue to have to contract out. But the reality is, when someone graduates and they can work at a hospital, then they're more likely to work at a hospital than a school. That's a fact. They can make double the amount of money. They have, it's just completely different. And the expectations of a school nurse is, I know most nurses are doing so much more than just being a nurse. It's a very difficult job, and it's hard to find. At the bottom end, why is that? It comes down to funding. You can ask almost any, and when we were able to pay bus drivers more, we didn't have the shortage. If we could pay ESC teachers double, we would have that. All the issues come down to funding. And when I had the lady come for the public comment, and she was talking about salaries, I wanted to say, go talk to the Department of Education, go talk to the state of Florida. You shouldn't be talking to us, because we're paying everything that we can. And it's really important, as I said, when you look at that, and when you look at DOGE and you look at waste, just the other day it popped up in my feed. The Florida Auditor General, you can't track $4 billion worth of vouchers. We've got over 30,000 students unanswered. Okay, $398 million lost of taxpayer money because kids took the voucher and showed up. If we could get a fraction of that, we would be able to pay our nurses. That's the bottom line. A lot of the issues that are happening are directly related to funding, and we talk about waste, and now here it is this year, and we're still not tracking that money. Think about that. You're talking about $600 or $700 million wasted in the last 2 years. If we could have 10% of that, we could probably pay our nurses and pay them something and make a difference. I know everyone's working hard to find nurses, and it's hard when you're a nurse and you're at the school and that you see somebody's coming in and they're making slightly more than you, because they're not thinking about the health insurance and the benefits. People are looking at their bottom line and how they're paying for their family. So this is a very complex issue. It's not going to be solved. I'm going to support this item, but I'm not happy with this. We need to continue to work really hard at, attracting and retaining our nurses, and really probably selling the lifestyle that teaching has that maybe nursing doesn't have, because you're in the hospital all day, that you're coming home at a reasonable time, you're working with young kids, you're making a difference. But this is a much bigger issue. You could ask any department. Years ago, any department, there were 10, 20, 30 applicants. Now we have to go outsource and looking for people because we're not able to maintain salaries. Since the 1980s, we're talking 45 years, it has not really changed. 45 years. And in the 1980s, it was pretty reasonable to live in Florida, especially Hillsborough County. So this is a much larger issue, but I'm going to have to support it because at the end of the day, I need to have a nurse at a school.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to thank the Finance Department and Dr. Russ's office. I know that this is a critical need here in our Hillsborough County schools. And I know that you guys have been very diligent working with our Medicaid representative locally here in our district to be on the Agency for Healthcare Administration, as they have a compliance that they must be in compliant by July 1st of 2026. The federal CMS rules saw that they were in compliance 3 years ago, and we see that exact result of that noncompliance. The fact that we are still on a fee-for-service basis means that they are not complying with properly paying the school districts for the exact type of services that our nurses are providing. At the end of the day, our nurses are doing more, providing more than they ever have been, and the AHCA is responsible for paying according to the work that they are doing, not according to the fee for service, but cost of service. And so I thank you both for being very due diligent, continuing having meetings, continuing putting pressure on the Agency for Healthcare Administration, because they must be in compliance by July 1 of 2026 to be reviewing all of our Medicaid rates. And we need to see their response to this offset of what we are having to pay to maintain the health and safety of our students. And so it is 100% correct that we are unable to pay properly because we are unable to be reimbursed properly. And that is a failure by the Agency for Healthcare Administration. The federal government found them to be in compliance, and so they've got, and we're on their heels, we're watching what they're doing. So they've got by July 1st to be able to get in compliance. So thank you for continuously being aware of it, being abreast of it, being a thorn in their side, making sure they know we're ready to go, giving them the information they need, because this has to change. We cannot put out money without the proper reimbursement by AHCA for what services were being provided. It's federal law, and they are in violation of that federal law right now. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Gray? Member Washington?
Okay. Thank you. We're in a bind, and I realize we are in a bind, but we got to have nurses in school. At the end of the day, we have to have nurses in school. And a lot of people I know now that worked in the school system, and they had to leave. They were nurses and they had to leave. And one of my relatives, she had to leave because she wasn't making enough money. So it's not your fault, because you guys are doing a great job. You're doing all the things it takes to make it successful, but it's out of our hands. At the end of the day, we need nurses. So whatever we have to pay right now, we just got to suffer and do it and make it work for now until later on. And don't get discouraged, because one day it will be right. It will be right. And thank y'all for all y'all hard work. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Gray?
Okay, so Member Rendon brought up a new point about reimbursement. So my point was to raise the pay scale one level. And what does reimbursement have to do with this particular item? I'm just needing some clarity.
So it's a function that runs through, obviously, that service. Our nurses
Right.
provide a service. We're able to get reimbursed for that. And actually, a number of services we get reimbursed. Back to the workshop we had in the spring about Medicaid and all the opportunities we have there. Member Rendon was referencing that the state's been out of compliance and that they're working toward becoming compliant this summer, which will be a little bit of a shift for us in our Medicaid program. And so we're monitoring that. We're working throughout each of our departments of how that will impact us. It will have a little bit less of an impact on our school sites and more of an impact on the district as we'll take on more responsibilities in that reimbursement process, because it's going to go to more from a fee schedule to more of a cost basis. But there's a lot of work that has to happen between now, as Member Rendon said, and next summer for the state to get there. There's a lot of work. And so we have folks that from Hillsborough that sits on the board, sits on the panel that's part of this process. We have those that are deeply engaged with it. And so the reason that's important is because that's additional revenue that comes in to the district. I think what's important is we're going to spend the money to provide these services because that's what our students need. This is the way that we get reimbursed for what we're trying to do. But at the end of the day, whether we get reimbursed or not, we have to apply these services to our students. It's why we're here. This is a way that we can get money back, and if this is a way that we can help right-size the budget, and once we do that, we're able to address some of these things that we're talking about here tonight.
So the question then is, part of the plan, and this is Dr. Patton, are you including the reimbursement that will hopefully occur, but it's not really known yet as a finite number, but it could be. So what kind of plan is going to be shared with us with that in mind?
So one of the things that we do is work very close in collaboration with finance. So finance, communication, myself, we always work in collaboration to say, what can we do? And Jamie and I have meetings on a regular basis to say, what are the levers we need to pull to make sure that we can find funding and sources for funding? So that can be part of the plan. If you'd like to have that detail as to what our thoughts are around that, we certainly can provide that from the finance perspective. We can provide that to you.
Well, and more importantly than thoughts, we need to have an action, a time, some type of timeline. My last question, and I've asked it already, and I'm sorry for just beating a dead horse, perhaps, but why are we not putting both of these together, your plan and the ask? So then a board member who seems to be quite stubborn tonight could say, well, I remember Tom Weeks. We had an employee who never had a plan, and we had all these high expenditures, and it was killing me to say yes, yes, yes when there was no plan. So, Superintendent Van Ayers, help me out here. Why didn't we do it together versus separate?
I'll try to answer that.
Okay.
I think what's important when you look at this contract, it does not mean that we will spend the amount of money that is projected in the request. This is an opportunity that we have to bring this resource in. Obviously, if we can't fill these positions, we're going to spend this money. But if Dr. Patton's successful and is able to recruit and then retain these professionals, then we won't obviously spend the amount of money that's being requested here tonight. But I think what's important is, no matter what, vacancies will always be a challenge. I think in no matter what type of job we have or what the profession is, vacancies is always a challenge. And critical need vacancies where we have to supply that professional inside a school site, this is a contract that allows us to bring in a resource if we can't find someone for whatever reason to employ them. And I think this is a critical need, but I want to emphasize that it might not happen that we spend this much money if we're successful on the HR side to bring these folks in.
And also, just adding on to that, hear you loud and clear around a plan and then agenda items that are coming forward. So, message heard.
Message is heard. All right, but I still stand firm because I've had the same scenario in front of me, only different outsources year after year, and I guess I can't seem to do it again. Thank you, Madam Chair. My comments are finished.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Vaughn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do feel like we have this conversation repeatedly over and over again, and it's kind of like what comes first, the chicken or the egg. We can't afford necessarily to be competitive in pay, and then we start to lose those critical positions, and then we have to outsource them to make sure we can provide the services. I think it's also really important as we advocate around pay that we also talk about health insurance and benefits, and that we put that at the forefront of the conversation, because that is something when we're talking about not being able to pay as much as some of the competitors in the healthcare industry. That's what makes us stand out, right? Is the fact that we are offering medical benefits, and as those erode and become less attractive, then the only thing that we really get to talk about is whether or not we can raise pay. And I think we also have to market it and talk about how much time people get off, right? And what that looks like, and being able to have 2 weeks off for a holiday, or being able to have time off in the summer, and the flexibility. I think all of that's got to be a part of the marketing position, is not just constantly focusing on the pay. But I think that we have heard from this board repeatedly over and over again, from a majority, I won't say from the entire board, that it is a priority to do what it takes to make sure that we're filling these positions in-house, and that outsourcing isn't the only answer, because again, it becomes kind of, this cycle of, once we outsource, where's that money going? And then we're not paying, and we're not focusing on the compensation and the salary. So I'm glad that you hear that. I actually appreciate you bringing up the ACA piece again, Member Rendon. I think that's a crucial piece. And while you say it might change it a little bit, I think it will have a huge impact. And I think it's egregious that our state is out of compliance and not doing what it takes. When we talk about our most marginalized, fragile kids, our kids on Medicaid, and revamping that schedule to make sure that we're able to give them the services is so imperative to the conversation that we're having. And so I don't see any conversation around this as someone being stubborn, and I don't appreciate that comment at board members. It doesn't have to be personal up here. I appreciate what everybody contributes. And so I just want to say, I do think we should focus on the ACA. I do think that is important. I think we need to keep pushing that and figuring out when we're going to be in compliance as a state, and talk about what we need to do to recruit people, just not based on salary. It is important, and we need to continually advocate for funding public education, traditional funding public education, but we have to talk about all those crucial pieces. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. So I'm gonna bring a different lens to this conversation, because I work in the medical space. So it's just not here that we are having an issue with nursing shortage, okay? Every day, on a daily basis, I see this in a hospital setting. Nurses are having compassion fatigue, and they're walking away from this industry. They're walking away. In a hospital setting, a nurse's shifts are 3 days. 3 days on, 4 days off. And when we're looking at providing care to students, it's on a 5-day-a-week shift. Okay? And they work with health prevention, injury, illness management, chronic disease management for our students, mental health support. They provide their medications. And let's be honest, we do have a little bit more higher needs in our schools right now. We have increased workloads, and some of our students come with missed health needs to our schools. So when we're looking at what our nurses are expected to provide, the fact that we can outsource nurses from hospital settings to our schools is a plus for us, to be honest. And I'm going to just say that to my fellow board members. I get that our nurses play a crucial part in maintaining our health and well-being, but also the fact that we can still staff them today for our schools is it has a positive impact for our students. Our hospitals are feeling this as well. I've worked for the hospital setting for over 30 years, and I've come into work As a matter of fact, just last week, we had 3 nurses walk away from the healthcare industry. And it has negative impacts on our patients. But the consequences, the negative consequences, the positive consequences outweigh the negative, to be honest. And if this is the only way that we can staff right now, hospitals pay way more than we could possibly ever pay our nurses. I don't even think that we could even reach the amount of money that we could pay our nurses in comparison to what they make right now. And we have nurses that are deciding to go to travel nursing, and they're walking away from the hospital setting. These nurses have had it. They're done. And so asking them, so I'm going to say this, the fact that we have a staffing space that will help staff and take care of our students, that's the number one thing for me, that we can have a nurse in front of our students. And then maybe work with them to try to get them to, transition over to become full-time staff. That's, I don't know what the prize or what we need to the shiny penny for them to come over. But I do see this on a daily basis, our nursing staff walking away from the healthcare industry. That's what I know. Just saying. And so, for me, thank you for finding the staffing agency, because our children need to have somebody in front of them to take care of them. And seeing no further comments or questions, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes with Member Gray dissenting from the vote. The next item is item 601, budget amendments for period October 1st, 2025, ending October 31st, 2025. Jamie Lewis, Chief Financial Officer, will highlight this item.
All right. Good evening. It's been a little bit of time since finance has been up here as we we go through our normal parts of our season. But here tonight, we're going to present to you, and as we have already talked with you about the budget amendments for October of this year. As we are trying to enhance finance, you'll notice that we're trying to provide a little bit more information. So our presentation will be a little bit different, and probably this is not working for me. You good? Tonight we have 3 main agendas that we want to cover with the board, and that is first we're going to go over October and what do we look like financially. We can report that from a financial standpoint we have a healthy outlook for the month of October, no significant changes, and I think that's important. Although we're early in the year and we'll see things change throughout the year, we're looking healthy compared to what we approved in September for the final budget. Our October adjustments were mostly done to reallocations or just adjustments that we needed to do to properly show and reflect some minor changes in the budget and how we want to show where the funding is adequately at. And then finally, and most importantly, our general fund is stable. General fund budget shows no net change. It reflects exactly where we need, and we just had some maintenance issues that we'll go over tonight that we want to talk about and how that impacted things. The general fund really had a couple of different things that we want to bring attention. I think these are good things as we look at financing the district and how we're running our operations. And so we had $5.6 million in reallocations that we did from our instructional services to food service. And we just want to bring attention that this isn't really anything beyond us right-sizing where we want to put the expenses for our referendum. We want to properly show that in the right buckets. As we know, the referendum is a new process for the district this year. And so the $5.6 million is only reallocating those funds where the expense will actually occur in food services. You'll see in further months, probably as we do the amendments for November and December, you're going to see similar adjustments as we correct the remaining other divisions. And so we just want to bring light about that. That isn't a decrease to instructional expenses, but just a reallocation and putting the funding in the correct bucket as we spend the referendum funding for this year. The additional adjustments were minor, but we want to point out that there was some additional needs, and we were able to reallocate and fund those for student support, instructional media, and school administrative functions as we see the needs, different needs arise throughout the year. For special revenue, we had a couple of different things, and as you remember, we had a little bit of a different type of flow from our information for federal grants this year as we got some notices over the summer, and we weren't really sure what was going to occur. So we decided not to put the funding in the budget until the grants were approved. And so we can happily report that many of our grants were approved for fiscal year 26. And because those were approved, we were able to go ahead and put those in the budget and start planning throughout the year. Some examples of those programs would be our Head Start, World Languages, Community Schools, our Military Connected programs. Those are all good things, and I want to bring attention to that because those are things that we've been granted for the year, and we're able to start utilizing those. In response to that, obviously, if money comes in, we have to make sure we put that in the right support buckets for an expense. So you'll notice in our special revenue buckets that we saw expenses go up in correlation to that because we needed to make sure we had that in the right instructional buckets, stuff for staff training, instructional media, and so forth. And that's really our changes for special revenue. Public. For debt service and capital outlay, those are connected, and most of that is due to year-end adjustments. And I just want to bring attention that we're able to do some things at the end of the year and work with Mr. Farkas's team and make some adjustments there. So debt service and capital budgets were adjusted for some end-of-the-year closeout, and we were able to transfer between the two funds. In addition to what's a really good point is some projects were completed by our construction teams, and there was a savings there. And that savings Mr. Farkas' team was able to reutilize in many different areas. And so you'll notice that some reallocations were made for vehicle and safety improvements. And I think that's a testament to him and his crew as they manage projects and they come in under budget. We're able to use some of the additional funds in other ways. And that's a collaboration we have between our finance department and our capital teams. Finally, and the one we want to spend a few minutes on tonight is our general fund. And really looking at our summary where we're at. As we all know, our funding comes in periodically, and especially our property taxes. And so for the month of October, what you will notice, and we just want to bring attention to this, is our revenue timing is a challenge for us, as it is every single year for our school district. As of October, our district had realized about $437 million in revenue, but our expenses had already reached $764 million, creating a $33 million negative fund balance. What's important about that is that happens every single year as we await our property taxes that will come in. And as a reminder, for this year, we are expecting a little north of $1.1 billion in property taxes. And part of that is something new for us, and $183 million is directly related to the referendum. None of those funds can come in before the month of November. And in fact, the challenge of it is only about 6 to 7%, and I did not want to say that, but 6 to 7%. Sorry, it's my kids. That usually comes in about, I'm not going to do the hand motion, but
I'll do it for you. I'm your son, Brianna.
There, 6 to 7, there you go. Very minimum comes in the month of November. The bulk of our property taxes come in the month of December and January. So if you think about it, we're waiting on $1.1 billion to help run, from a cash standpoint, the district. It doesn't come in. Now, this district, what we elected to do back in July as a district, and we appreciate the board supporting this and encouraging us to do it, is to start the referendum from day one. And I think that was really important for our district. And what's important about that is $183 million of the referendum money does not come in until the month of November. So we were able to financially make a plan to be able to right size, be able to kind of weather the storm financially from a cash standpoint, the months of July all the way into December, because we're going to be short on cash because we wanted to go ahead and pay that. In addition to that, we were able to go ahead and expedite our bargaining adjustments and other things in the month of October, which is also, again, before our property taxes come. So from a cash standpoint, and one of the reasons you see a negative fund balance is because our revenue just hasn't hit yet. And now we've already seen money come in. $91 million came in the month of November for our property taxes, so we're seeing that roll in. But it takes time for that. The difference between this year and previous years, and I don't know, and I haven't looked at the board meetings in previous years, I don't know if we went into this detail about it, but I think it's important because this year is unlike any other year because we have a referendum. And so currently, through October 31st, we had already spent almost $55 million in referendum. And so if you were to take that $55 million away out of this analysis right here, we wouldn't have a negative fund balance. And we have figured out a way to manage that from a cash standpoint, and I think that's a really good thing because that means we didn't delay any payments to our employees. It also meant that we didn't delay any payments to charter schools, and we've given about $10 million year to date to our charter schools for their portion of the referendum. And all of that will be right-sized in the next couple of months, but we just wanted to bring attention to this. Now, as a state statute, the negative doesn't impact us right now. The state statute is only effective for the end of the fiscal year. So one of the questions we received was, well, does a $33 million negative hurt us right now? No, because we've projected that. And as you know, our fund balance kind of has a roller coaster theme because we're waiting on that property taxes. And then once we get that in, we're kind of at a high and it kind of goes down. So I appreciate you letting me take a little bit of time on that tonight. We just thought that was really important to understand why we see this. You're going to see the same thing for November, although not as bad. And then you're going to see us rebound in the month of December and January from a fund balance standpoint. So, Madam Chair, that is our financial report for October.
Thank you so much, Jamie Lewis. Now I need a motion and a second to approve item C601. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Gray. Member Vaughn and Member Gray pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments? Member Vaughn?
Thank you for the presentation. I'm always surprised, Ms. Shotwell, when you're confused about how many questions I have. You've seen me in executive session. You shouldn't be confused when I have those types of questions when we do our budget amendments. But I appreciate that. I am glad that you are not putting the money from the grants in there before we get that grant money. As a board member, that's always been very confusing to see that money swept away and then be told that we'll get it back when the grant's fulfilled, and seeing that money come in and out has been very challenging to kind of keep up with all the amendments when that money has gone in and out. So I appreciate that it's more true to the actual money that we're getting and that we're forecasting it when we know that we're getting it. I think that helps project our budget a lot more. And I know we're not talking about it in this budget amendment, but since we haven't had a budget amendment where we've talked about the budget in a while, I do want to go back because in the previous ones we've talked about, I don't know, what was it, 6 months ago? The money that was shorted to us from the state for the money that we actually serviced our students. And I made kind of a big deal about it at the time because I was aghast that we had students come, we serviced them, and then for absolutely no reason, that money was taken out of our general fund, right? When we're talking about going into a negative fund balance, when we're talking about coming up with competitive salaries for our critical positions, all of this is general fund money, and that missing. And it's being reported that it was $4 million. I remember at the time there was $16 million that was taken back when we were talking about it. Some of it was because they were truing up our account. What was the actual amount that was taken out of our budget due, now that we know, and it's been in the newspaper, because of the overspending of vouchers at the state level?
$18 million was the adjustment made in total for Hillsborough County. That was obviously shared between us and charter schools. Tonight, I can't remember exactly the exact number that was related just from the proration of our appropriation, and that's how they called it in the state. I can tell you that it was much higher than 4 million, but
That's
I
what I thought.
can't confirm that tonight off the top of my head. But it was significant, and of course the fourth calculation was not completed or provided from the state. We have received the final calculation, where we did receive a little less than $4 million, and so they have closed out the year, and we received that just a few weeks ago. So they have closed that portion out, so we don't feel like there'll be any more adjustments for last year. But obviously we monitor that. We'll monitor that again this year to see what happens. We haven't heard anything from appropriations, and both of us were at conferences, different conferences for finance, and that was brought up. And again, there's been no communication that there's going to be anything negative. And I think this is something to monitor as we see the voucher system and just the overall structure of the Department of Education and how that impacts.
So can you get me the correct number? Because as I see the 4 million being miscalculated, I'm responding and saying that that's a miscalculation, that we lost more money than that, and I'd like to know what the accurate amount is.
We'll provide that to the whole board.
And I don't think you have this answer, but I just need to ask it. As we're held accountable, if we overspend, we get threatened with going into receivership, or we get threatened for our district to be shut down or to be removed from our office. As the state has grossly overspended, to Member Combs' earlier point of almost $500 million of mismanagement and misspending, where is the accountability level? Who holds the state accountable for this mismanagement and gross negligence of overspending and lack of accountability in this quick voucher expansion? Where is the accountability go to? Do you know that as a CEO of a school district?
I cannot answer that question. I can answer that what we can do for Hillsborough is do the best we can and react appropriately to put our students first. I can't answer how that works at the state level, but I can assure you that at Hillsborough we're doing all we can as we're dealt with whatever situation we have to take care of our district and our students.
Okay, so you're going to get me the correct amount.
Yes, ma'am.
Which is more than $4 million, which just based on $4 million is, from my calculation, around 500 students, which could be the size of an entire elementary school of servicing for an entire year, with not getting that payment and providing those services for those students that was just taken away from us because of mismanagement at the state level. So I just wanted to ask that question.
We'll get it to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to both of you. Ms. Shotwell, thank you for bargaining. And I don't think you gave any evidence of your thought process, but what you really did, and what I'm hearing, what the board's hearing, is that you gave our teachers their salary increase despite us having a real negative type of fund balance. Is that right? So we were thinking for the benefit of our teachers getting that raise.
I appreciate that the attention to that, but obviously as chief negotiator, I am always representing what the board and what the superintendent have authorized us to do.
But the goodwill that Superintendent Van Ayers that we shared and showed, and you did, for the welfare and well-being of our teachers and staff has to be really, I just want to say it means a lot, and I'm looking at other teachers behind you. And thinking of their financial well-being first, but all the questions that Member Vaughn and perhaps other board members might ask spells to me that the need for a fiscal planning policy needs to be done. We need to have that benchmark, that infrastructure before we can move forward with any type of pay increases, etc. Can you remark, there's two things I want you to remark on. Remark on the need for a policy, and secondly, remark on if we have an elimination of paying property taxes, which is what's in the news all the time, what effect may that happen? And if you can't answer that, which I don't even know, but it seems to be in the paper all the time about eliminating property taxes, which goes directly to fire, education, police. There's all types, and I know we're held harmless, but again, we have to start being proactive just in case. So those two remarks. Thanks.
I'll start with the property taxes. Right now, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll plan accordingly to operate the district the best we can. From our understanding that K-12 or public school systems have been excluded currently in the conversations. Obviously, nothing's set in stone, but it's something we need to closely monitor as a school district. As I mentioned, $1.1 billion is supported to us by property taxes. That's significant funding and resources. We'll see how that works and what that means, but it is something that we need to monitor. But right now, we're not hearing anything that would impact us from that. Obviously, a lot of work and due diligence is going to be being done by multiple people for that. And I think that's important for the referendum that we just got. That really turned the tide. Dr. Patton will tell you that we talked about nursing a few minutes ago. Let's not forget our referendum really allowed us to make an impact to our employees, our greatest assets that we have, and that made a big difference in our hiring and our vacancy rates for this year.
Yeah, and thank you, Mr. Lewis. And I just want to thank the board. I mean, that was getting that millage referendum passed. It then becomes, I want to thank the board for the ability to dip into that fund balance a little bit to be able to pay our employees starting on July 1st. And I know on my end, Mr. Lewis, it did cause a little bit of stress and anxiety, right? Because you're taking that money and spending it before you actually get it. So I just want to publicly thank Mr. Lewis and his entire team, but most importantly, thank the board for allowing us the ability to do that and take care of employees. So thank you to the board. Number one, we got that millage referendum passed, which has made a tremendous impact on this school year. But then thank you for allowing us the opportunity to get that money out starting July 1, even though those funds had not come into the school district. So thank you, board.
Thank you. And the need for the fiscal planning policy, and this is something that you may want to own and make statements.
So our fiscal policy has been something we talked about for a long time. That's our fund reserve policy. It's what percentage as a district do we want to maintain as a fund balance. I believe we have a workshop next week that you get to hear from me again about that, and so I'll be glad to explain that. The fiscal policy allows the foundation, in my opinion, it allows the foundation for the finance team to build a budget. It provides guidance on exactly where we want to be. And getting that set, although we do have one, so getting that revised, if we do want to change it, allows us to, me and Ms. Shotwell, to build budgets into the future about exactly where we're at, what's our thresholds, and what we want to do. So there's a couple of foundational pillars that we have in building budgets, and that is one key part of that. And that tells us that we're talking about here tonight is when that fund balance dips, what's the threshold that we're allowing it to dip to? And that's important as we monitor what we're going to do from year in and year out.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Seeing no further comments or questions, please vote when your light appears. And it passes unanimously. Yes. Now we will move into the superintendent's comments. Superintendent?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And my superintendent's updates this evening are pretty light, obviously, with our just a few more days of school before our winter break. But I just do want to highlight a few items, but I'll keep it pretty brief. I did have a pretty cool opportunity today, and board members next year, if you do have that opportunity. So the Kiwanis Club hosted their 84th annual Children's Christmas Party. Today we had 40 elementary schools and 4 students from each school. And I had the opportunity to be there today and speak with them and sit at one of the, I was actually at the table for DeSoto. But Santa Claus shows up and they come in with their gifts and they each get to open a bag of gifts that they have. So it was almost 160 of our elementary kids today were at Pepin today, and it was made today really special. But it was awesome. But so thanks to Kiwanis Club for what they do for our students. They've been doing that for 84 years in Hillsborough County, providing this service. So it was pretty neat. And I want to give a shout out. We had our first Thrive in Third Live. So it was the first time in Yoli, Vasquez. Under Mr. Brady as our chief academic officer, we had a first opportunity where we brought our elementary literacy folks to their professional learning initiative, which is Thrive in Third Live to Life on Monday. It was the first time we had almost over 150. You can see the picture of our third grade reading teachers that all came together for professional development opportunities. So special thanks for Yoli for bringing that idea to life. Mr. Brady, thank you to you and your team for making this forward. I know Mr. Brady yesterday we were in interviews and he brought this to my attention, but really cool thing that we've never done before in the school district. You talk about bringing every elementary third grade teacher, one from each school, together. It was a great learning opportunity, and actually one of the interviewees from yesterday, who was over at Member Combs from West Chase, had just come from the Thrive, who was a third grade teacher, had just come from Thrive in Third for the interview, and then she was headed back. So thank you, Mr. Brady, for your team. Very, very cool professional learning opportunity for our third grade teachers. Also, just some updates. We did close out the magnet window. Here is some really good news, and I want to thank Mr. Murillo, our entire team, our communications team, pushing out our magnet window. You can see some of the results. So if you look just last year to this year, you can see almost 1,200, close to 1,200 more total selections that were made. But the more importantly, if you look at unique student applications, almost up 1,000 more students that actually filled out an application this year for that magnet window. So hopefully, as we look to bring numbers in the school district, those are students that aren't hopefully within our school district but are choosing to come back into the school district. So with having 1,000 more that have made that choice, I just wanted to share that information. Good news as we continue to publicize how great our schools are with the results that we continue to achieve. And just as I close out, board members, I know you were out and about with us as we had our surprise patrols. So just some of the instructional support employees of the year. And Hillsborough Treasures will be January the 22nd. So once we come back from winter break, we're 2-3 weeks and right into Hillsborough Treasures. We had the interviews just on yesterday, wasn't it? Was that yesterday? Yesterday. The interviews. So you can see some of our finalists. I will shout them out. Officer Webb over at West Chase, Shakira Scott, Secretary for Palm River, Mary Torres Cereza, who's the LPN, speaking of LPN, licensed, our nurses over at Willis Peters, and Julie Holobetz, who was the lunchroom maid at Reddick Elementary School. So those are our 4 instructional support finalists. So on the January 22nd, you'll see them as on the stage there, and I know board members, all of you attend that particular event. And then we move off to our Ida S. Baker, our other 4. You can see April Campbell, our community resource teacher at Jennings, Adrian Sarmiento, workforce program advisor at Morgan High School, Che Counts, our Access Points teacher at Sims Elementary, and Jennifer Giannone, our Avid academic teacher at Newsom. Those are our 4 finalists on January 22nd for our Ida S. Baker Award. So those are our 4 finalists there. I know board members, you were each at several different ones of these. So those are our 4 finalists. So those 4 candidates will be there on January 22nd on the stage as we announce the big winner. And then finally, our Teacher of the Year finalists. So here they are, our 5 finalists for this year. And as I talk to our teachers, and we talked to them on Monday, you're talking about over close to 15,000 teachers in Hillsborough County. And these are the 5 finalists. What an honor to be one of those finalists. So you see Rochelle Phillips over at Kenley, Tracy Moore at Hill Middle School, Francesca Duran over at West Chase, Christy Atkinson, Ace Marine Science over at Wharton, and Melissa DeGespie over at Davidson. So I see. So Shake, you got 1 up there, right? And I think Member Combs, you have 2. And Ms. Vaughn has 2. Who's going to get the winner? We'll see. We will see on January 22nd who our finalists, who our winner is for Teacher of the Year. So as we as we're over winter break, very cool to have that come in right out of the break. A couple weeks in, we'll have our big Hillsborough Treasure. So again, congratulations to those 13 that were are named as finalists, and we had those final interviews on Monday. Some that are already decided, we did announce, and they were actually at the parade, at the Santa Parade. They were with us. Travian Mitchell is our Assistant Principal of the Year from Tampa Bay Tech. So congratulations to Travian. And then Deanna Fisher, the principal at Shields Middle School, was our principal of the year. So those have been announced. And board members, I know a lot of you were out as we did those surprise patrol and announced those winners. So AP and principal were decided, and then on January 22nd, we'll get our last, our instructional support IDA S and teacher of the year. And finally, one of my last slides, I want to announce our superintendents. Why are you laughing? Oh, that's pretty. I know. That's my avatar. But this is all Chair Perez's idea. So Ms. Perez called me, so I told her to call Mr. Brady because Ms. Perez had this idea of a winter break reading challenge. So taking Ms. Perez's idea to life, I want to announce the district-wide challenges, and that encourages all pre-K to 12 students to engage with books in every format, print, digital, and audio during the holiday break. We'll celebrate schools at the elementary, middle, and high school level with the highest percentage of student engagement from December 19th to January 5th. Students will log their minutes in Beanstack, and winning schools receive $500 for books for the school library and a Reader Leader trophy. The goal of this challenge is to promote literacy, strengthen the connection between home and school reading habits, and invest in expanding access to books for every student. So, Chair Perez, thank you for that idea. Mr. Brady and your team, thanks for bringing this, bringing it to life. And finally, I just wanted to extend to all of our students first, our employees, just have an amazing winter break, and we'll all be back to school. And then that 2 weeks time period, I think it's January the 5th. Well, what was the day I think it's the 5th. Yeah, students don't go back on the Monday. We start Tuesday, which is the 6th. So January 6th, we return to school. But let's not think about that now. Let's think about our 2 weeks of break that's upcoming. Well-deserved break for our students and employees that have worked so extremely hard this first semester. And then this next week, we'll start our semester exams. Believe it or not, Mr. Washington, semester exams for our high school students, and the first semester exams next week. So those are my updates.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. Now we will move on to board member comments. Board members, just a reminder, you have 5 minutes, not 15, each to speak, with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Member Gray?
Okay, get ready, get set, go. Not yet, Pablo. So, Mr. Brady, Gary Brady, myself, and thank you, Deborah Vellante. We went on a nationwide podcast called Smart Social, and we definitely made mention the misuse of social media sites such as TikTok, WhatsApp, calculated percentage, Snapchat, because every one of these applications they know the location of the student, they know what they're thinking, they know how they dress. It leads to sextortion, grooming for traffickers, creates anxiety, decrease in academic concentration. So what Gary Brady did was also bring in how Snapchat, social media, also accelerates the proportionality is unbelievable about how they get a knowledge of our students and our youth in general. And so if just 1 minute, I think we have a video, Pablo. And I don't know, Gary, if we're going to be seeing you or not on this video, but we'll see.
Let me straight, teach me a few things. What trends are you seeing in your neck of the woods in the country, and what have you seen in the past?
In the past, there was a total, and there still is, a total reliance on social media, use of cell phone. That's pretty much a commonality throughout the United States. But fast forward, now we're looking at, after COVID, we're looking at 2025, we're seeing the underlying need for most kids is to have relationships. And what has happened is that many of them are isolated. They have events at school, but they're so totally dependent on typing in, using their cell phones. Many of them have forgotten the simple ability to talk, small talk. Even in Sweden, they have a class that students take called small talk. It has manifested itself to dangerous relationships through AI, chat, through Snapchat, TikTok. Oh, what happened to Gary? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Gary? We got a good look at Gary.
I think I was actually AI.
Did he talk? I don't know.
All right. Well, and we have to thank again Deborah Belante. This is a nationwide podcast. Thank you, Deborah, for putting a highlight on our district and what we're doing to prevent the social media nuances going on among our students. Next, we have the Future Career Academy. I believe that's the next photo. Let's see. We have a PowerPoint. Hold on. Let's see if I can see it. Oh, there we are. Yeah, we all, and Rob Nelson's not here, but he got a chance to speak. Yvonne Fry narrated this Workforce Development Future Career Academy, and she showcased, among many other partners, our district. So Rob Nelson was there, made a speech. Chris Jargo, board member Renton was there, many others, but it really showed that the Workforce Development Future Career Academy has definitely made a huge impact for students' pathways to vocational and technical schools. And first thing on the cake is we're going to have a grand opening in Plant City for the vocational tech school there on Friday, ribbon cutting. And hopefully, if Chris Farkas doesn't laugh his head off, he will be there as well. So you got to behave. This is a serious moment. So anyway, that was great. And next, PBIS. What a great example, positive behavior intervention support system. You go to different schools. I think one of the board members mentioned it today. It might have been Member Combs. But a PBIS school, generally, if it's full fidelity, and I know Shay McCrae is very familiar, Tracy Brown also, it does lessen the referrals. Now, what school has the least referrals? Largely, right now, it's Davison. Cut it more in half because of this program. Last, Dina Marshall, we are having, let's see, Pablo, use the next one. Okay, Wellbeing for You Expo. It will be at Jefferson, and we will be talking about health and wellness. And Dina Marshall is the captain of the ship for our insurance well-being. So we want to thank her as well and invite every one of us to come January 10th at 9 a.m. Ta-da! Done. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you, Chair Perez. I hate to start in a somber moment, but I just wanted to remember Stanley Gray, who was the president of the Urban League. I feel like being on the board, I meet so many different people, and that's somebody who fiercely advocated for his community, was really strong, but the way he did it was so kind, and it really always made me listen so well, and really I appreciated him. He even, as he passed, he didn't want to have a big event because that's the person he was. He mentored so many young people. He was just a really, really important person in our community, and I just want to say he's going to be really missed. I had no idea he was as sick as he was, but he really was a really wonderful person. I just want to thank him for the work he's done in Hillsborough County and in our community. I just want to say thank you to our music department. We have such, John Seaver is just so talented, but a special thank you to the Steinbrenner family and our dedicated and talented Tracy Lisi. I mean, she's just such an incredible, talented person, and to allow all those students at the holiday concert to be able to experience and see things. I think sometimes we take for granted sometimes what our children can see and other kids can see. Some kids, I think they'll remember that for the rest of their lives. So that was really amazing. And congratulations to all the finalists in the Excellence in Education. And I also want to say a really big shout out when we look at school choice, and there's so much involved, and when you have parents and everybody is moving around, I cannot thank Matt Romano enough. I mean, he is one of the most intelligent, kind, hardworking people I have ever met. Like anytime I call him, he's just wonderful. And then his wife is so brilliant at teaching. Like what a great, great team that we have there. I think that's, for me, one of the wonderful things about being on the school board. I've met, like I look out here, I've met so many amazing people like the cabinet, the staff, who've dedicated their lives to children in our community. So I just want to thank him and his wife and everybody else. I wish everyone a very, very happy and safe holiday and an early happy birthday to Karen Perez. So that's tomorrow. And I hope everybody has a safe and wonderful holiday. And remember, the holidays are a wonderful time, but they're also a very hard time. So please be kind and have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I got to give you some money, huh? Okay, let me take care of it. You know, we always do. Again, I want to give my condolences out to Stanley Gray family. A great leader has left, and he's really exemplified what leaders should do in Hillsborough County for the community. Again, my condolences. Probably you want to go to the first one here with, I think I was at Horace Mann, Chief, and I was at Horace Mann to see the Braille. It's phenomenal. This is the first one. I think they said it was the first one in the state, And to ensure that students use Braille and large print have the opportunity to select books directly from the Media Center. The vision impaired, and it was amazing because they were reading, just like you and I were talking, they were reading off of the Braille. It's unbelievable. Again, I like to thank Mr. Brooks for inviting us, and that's really a great opportunity for those students. The next one was the Great American Teach-In. We had at party, I enjoyed. We talked about what school board members should do, their jobs and so forth. And the students are very attentive. You only had a few said they might want to be a school board member. Not a lot. They say it's a hard job. They don't like that. So you know how students are. But we had a great time, and for their participation, I gave each student $2. So they really enjoyed. They were very attentive. Yeah, it works. You keep them. You got to have some kind of way to keep their attention. Believe me. But it was really phenomenal. I had a great time at party with Dr. Dames and so forth, and I really enjoyed. Then we moving along to ReCU. ReCU, we wrapped for ReCU with the Price Waterhouse Cooper. We wrapped at least 260 gifts to go out to pass out on this coming Saturday, and at the schools in District 5 and some other schools also. But it's going to be at Shee High. The years past, we always had it at Milton High School, but this year we're going to have it at Shee High. I mean, Price Waterhouse Cooper, they really do a great job. We all donated money for the students. And 260 gifts is a lot to wrap. Of course, I wasn't very good in wrapping, so they helped me out a great deal. And also, I want to say happy holidays to each and every one. I hope you have a great time, and we enjoy and we see each other. January 6th? January 6th. But don't think about January 6th. Think about the holidays. Okay? Thank you all so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks for pointing out a Great American Teach-In and how nobody wants to be a school board member after they explain what they do. But I was really excited to see a lot of elected officials going out to our schools this year. Yeah. So I think it's great that whoever organizes that in the school is really reaching out to the community at large, and that kids are getting a good kind of exposure to, their elected officials and how to stay civically engaged. So I love Great American Teach-In, and I just thank you to everybody who participated this year. Also, shout out to our Excellence in Education finalists. Again, I have Wharton ACE teacher, Ms. Atkinson, and then as the superintendent and I were both talking about as we walked into Ben Hill, both of us going there, reminiscing about a teacher that we had in common that we both remembered greatly. We were able to surprise Mrs. Moore, who was drastically sick but still showed up to school, and her husband, who kept the award a secret the entire break, and she was just moved to tears. It's always so much fun to go into our schools and celebrate our educators, and I'm really looking forward to the awards. I also just want to highlight how I really love that some of our schools do things around the holiday to either engage their employees or our students. Next week, I'm excited to go into Mort Elementary and be able to read to the students as part of what they do for the students around holiday. They decorate the halls, and they have people from the community come in, and the teachers get to drop off the kids for, 20, 30 minutes, take an extra break. We get to read to the kids. It's really great. And then Temple Terrace Elementary always does something similar. They do a gift of time where they invite community members to come in and teach one of the classes, and the faculty gets to go to the lunchroom and have lunch and have a little bit of extra time. So I really appreciate my schools that are extra creative and really leaning in to give our employees more time and engaging the community to be able to come in and interact with the students. So this is probably one of my favorite times of the year, is to be able to go and spread some holiday cheer and give our teachers some time off. Tomorrow I'm having my interviews for I'm starting the District 3 student advisory council. Very specific. It's not a committee, it's a council. And we have 13 students who have signed up so far. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing interviews. But I was disappointed to see some schools had higher engagement than others. So I'd really like to know what I can do to get some of the other schools that have less representation engaged, because I think it's important to have all voices. But I am excited to kick that off, and hopefully we should have our first meeting in January. So I'm going to be bringing lots of stuff back from our students for all of our cabinet members to hear firsthand about things that are going to affect our students. And I think that's it. I just really want to say happy holidays. We talk over and over again about our employees being the backbone of our education system, of our schools. We can pat ourselves on the back all we want up here as far as board members, but it's really our employees who show up every day and make our district as successful as it is. So I just want to wish all of our employees just a chance to recharge, be with loved ones, celebrate whatever holiday. I hope it's peaceful, filled with, good health and love, and that, we just come back ready to jump in and do the work. So happy holidays to everyone. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. And I really want to go back to the beginning of this meeting and just give Chad Chronister and Betty Castor a shout out. They really did a lot of work. Their dedication and commitment to ensuring the transparency and accountability on the Citizens Oversight Committee. That was a lot of leadership in looking, making sure that our schools were taken care of. And also to Chris Farkas, who had to make sure that work was completed. And this, I know the bidding for the schools was a lot, but as we go into the schools and we see the work that was done, it was incredible. Like was mentioned by Betty Castor. But it was just, being able to foster a culture of respect and cooperation to be able to get this work done was incredible on their both parts. So I just wanted, send a shout out to them, and again thank them for their work. Also, the Great American Teach-In. I had what was called the Great Pizza Debate with our kids. It was pepperoni or cheese, and they learned how the voting process went, and they were able to do that. And at the end, their award was not an elected official, it was a pizza party. So yeah, when they got finished. So it was really neat how they were able to debate their preference. It was really neat. And Mr. Gibson, you and I share an incredible birthday, and I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday as well. Yeah. And I sit on the Salvation Army board, and I just want to remind folks that there's families out there who are not going to have a Christmas just like everyone else, and we have the angel tree, and it's the wishes for kids of what they would like to have for Christmas, and the possibility of Santa bringing that. So if you see it in your heart and your budget, to go pull an angel and fill that wish for those students, for those families or those children. But I am also excited for the superintendent's winter break challenge. I had challenged him to sleep on the roof on a tent, but that didn't. I'm just saying, if I have any buy-in, just let me know. But reading over the break helps maintain the strength of our students' skills, so that they return ready to learn. So whether for parents, whether sharing a bedtime story or discussing a favorite book, these interactions build bonds and encourage the kids to see reading as a shared, enjoyable activity. And I hope our students will take advantage of this challenge. But meanwhile, I want to wish you all a safe and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year with hope, prosperity, and success. And board members, thank you for all you do this year. And, thank you for being part of our school's community. And may the spirit of the season bring you peace and happiness. And with that, seeing no further comments, this meeting is adjourned.